And good evening from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. This is Conor McNamara. Nice scenes where you joined us because Son Heung-min is back tonight. First time he's returned since leaving the club to go to MLS. He's just been speaking on the microphone to all of the Tottenham Hotspur fans, as you can imagine, that's gone down really well. So big beaming smile on his face and great adoration for a player who had, 10 quite incredible years here. I mean, what a revelation Son Heung-min was in the Premier League, Andy Reid.
Yeah, incredible player. The partnership he had with Harry Kane, the amount of goals that they scored and set up for each other, brilliant. But him as an individual, some of the goals he scored, some of the moments he showed the Spurs faithful, and they're rightly kind of rewarding him tonight with that. And great to see Ledley King on the pitch presenting him with a memento. Two club legends there for sure.
Yes, he joined from Leverkusen in 2015, Son Heung-min. And of course, a couple of years back, won a share of the Golden Boot in the Premier League, just to emphasise the prowess that he had in this part of the world. But he's now gone to America. Spurs, who won the Europa League last season, now in the Champions League, and tonight looking to continue what has been a 100% start at home in this competition. 2 wins out of 2 in the Champions League. Spurs, who did lose for the first time in Europe this season of the Champions League last time out. Tricky assignment, of course, away at Paris Saint-Germain. And they did give it a good go in that game. It was high scoring, and at Paris Saint-Germain late on showed how good they were. But that was by no means a disaster for Spurs.
No, absolutely not. And I thought the difference in that performance, and I suppose some of the performances in Europe, has been the tempo. They haven't really been able to reproduce that often enough in the Premier League. So tonight they'll be hoping and the fans will be hoping that they can get off to a good, quick start. They can play in the front foot. They can get after Slavia and press them high up the pitch, win the ball back, and then show what good players they have in the top end of the pitch, because they have got players with a lot of ability who can be tricky and take up different positions, come into the pockets and be very creative.
Slavia are the reigning champions from the Czech Republic. They are currently top of the table as well, very dominant domestically, but they have tried to play so defensively in their Champions League performances. They've not scored in any of their last 4 Champions League games, Slavia. They lost 3-0 to Inter, they drew 0-0 with Atalanta, they lost 3-0 to Arsenal, and then last time out they drew 0-0 with Bilbao. And it would appear they're going for a very defensive formation tonight, 4-5-1. But I mean, it'll almost be like a flat back 6 at times.
Yeah, I think that's what that's what Tottenham will be hoping anyway. They are quite defensive, quite pragmatic. They'll want to get as many men behind the ball as they possibly can. They'll want to make it difficult, particularly in the early stages, and see if they can grow into it. I think what you'll find when they do play in that low block, Tottenham will have plenty of possession, plenty of territory, and it will take that little bit of guile to break this Slavia team down. I don't think there'll be a pushover. I don't think it'll be easy, but I think it goes back to the tempo that Tottenham play at. Can they move them about? Can they create gaps in that line? Can they get runners through them gaps when they do create them? And then can they be precise with the finishing?
We're live tonight at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in North London. This is 5 Live Sports Extra and BBC Sounds, bringing you the league phase of the Champions League. Tottenham Hotspur against Slavia Prague tonight. Spurs, who line up with Guglielmo Vicario in goal. It's a back 4 of Pedro Porro, Christian Romero the captain, and Mickey van de Ven with Jed Spence, with João Palhinha coming into the team tonight alongside Archie Gray in the midfield. Then there's an attacking 3 of Mohamed Kudus on the right, Wilson Odobert on the left, Xavi Simons through the middle, who scored his first Spurs goal in the win over Brentford here at the weekend, and Richarlison, who scored against Paris Saint-Germain in Spurs' last Champions League game. He leads the attack for the home side this evening. For Slavia Prague, their goalkeeper is Jindřich Staněk. They've got 4 of what looks on paper to be a flat back 4, but wing backs as well. So Tomáš Holeš, Stefan Halopek, Igor Ogbu and David Zimmer are the 4. Then the wing backs, David Dodera is the right wing back, the Gambian Youssoufa Senyang is the left wing back. Then 3 of the midfielders, David Moses, Lucas Provod and Michael Sadilek, with the top scorer leading the line, Mojmír Hytil, the Czech international, who has scored 4 goals in his last 2 games and would appear to be the main danger that Spurs would have to look out for this evening. Well, the 2 changes for Spurs, Andy, but João Palhinha, we know, good tackling job that he'll do in the midfield. And Wilson Odobert, who I feel we're seeing him in little glimpses, scored against Copenhagen last month in the Champions League, but maybe yet to still see him at his very best in a Spurs shirt.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to see kind of more end product from him. He showed flashes, so we know that he's got ability, but as I said, we want to see that end product. There's a lot of creative players on the pitch there for Tottenham. You look at Kudus, we know what he can do. We've seen what he's done in the Premier League. Simmons coming into his own at the moment, and he'll be really buoyant after his performance at the weekend. Richarlison can score goals. I'm quite interested to see what the midfield will look like, because I think it'll be most likely Palhinha will mop up in front of that back line. Gray will be kind of roving, he'll be taking up different positions, and then you're expecting Jed Spence and Pedro Porro to play really, really high up the pitch today.
Thomas Frank, who enjoyed a win against his old team Brentford here on Saturday. He was criticised for the quite timid tactical approach to the North London derby last month when Spurs were beaten 4-1 against Arsenal. There was also much disgruntlement around here more recently when Spurs lost to Fulham. But you've had an opportunity tonight to get another victory here and to keep alive Spurs' very currently healthy hopes of progressing through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. Special mention ahead of kick-off as the Spurs players go into a huddle for the sub-goalkeeper Anton Kinski, who joined Spurs last January. He is a former Slavia Prague player, played 30 appearances for them. And I was here earlier on this evening when he walked in with the other Tottenham players, and many of the Slavia fans were already in their seats, and they gave him a huge ovation. And you'd swear it was like when Son was coming back after 10 years. He only played 30 games for them, but obviously a very popular figure in Slavia.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. And the goalkeeping coach, Radek Cherny, ex-Tottenham player, he's back with Slavia Prague tonight. He was here in my time at Tottenham.
So we're underway. Spurs all in white, Slavia Prague all in black. Little purple trimming on their shirt. That's a good first touch by Hittil, the centre forward. And then across comes Porro to make a well-timed challenge, helped out by Romero. And Spurs regain possession. Spurs playing from right to left as we look down to this first half. Jed Spence accelerates over the halfway line with 1 lime green and 1 orange boot. Quite eye-catching from Jed Spence. Here is Odobert, couple of step overs, low cross into the penalty area, and Richarlison shoots, and somehow Staniak makes a quite miraculous save. How did Richarlison not score there? 6 yards out, no defender near him, goal at his mercy, goalkeeper scrambling back across, and somehow Staniak kept it out.
Well, I want to say that's an incredible save, and it is, but it's a poor miss. He's 6 yards out. He's just got to knock it into an empty net. I think it's hit the keeper in the end. It's a really poor finish, but a strong start from Tottenham on the front foot, and they've got a corner to go at now. Spurs
almost scoring inside the opening minute tonight, and Spurs fans hoping that is a sign of things to come. Corner's going to be taken by Pedro Porro, in swinging, in on top of the goalkeeper, and Staniak makes the save. Well, that'll do his confidence the world of good. As Andy illustrated, quite how much he knew about that we don't know, but it'll go down as a save, and after collecting the corner too, Henrik Staniak will feel he's now settled into the game. This is Ogbu trying to head it back, and just about enough power on that to ensure that Richarlison doesn't get a touch. Richarlison, who scored that long-range goal in the North London derby, he also scored against Brentford here at the weekend. Beginning to come together for Richarlison, 4 goals now in his last 6 matches. At the back, Holesh for Slavia Prague, their captain, plays it long up over the halfway line. Christian Romero jumping with Hegel, and the ball comes down for Mohamed Kudus. He'll give it back to Pedro Porro. Porro returns it to Kudus, and Spurs are up over the halfway line again. Right hand side of the pitch as Thomas Frank's team come forward. Kudus veering infield now, and he holds onto possession, rolls it back once again to Christian Romero. And then it's turned all the way back to the goalkeeper, Vicario, wearing bright blue, away to our right-hand side. We will, of course, keep you up to date with events in the other games of the Champions League tonight. Chelsea are in Italy, playing against Atalanta. Big game for Liverpool. Arne Slot still very much under the spotlight. They are in Milan to play Inter. You can listen to coverage of that game right now on our sister station 5 Live. But here on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds, it is Spurs 0, Slavia Prague 0. Just looking at that last little pass from Vicario, he's just kind of kicked it long down the middle, and
there was a bit of space there for Kudus to run into, but I just don't think it's necessary. I think they need to pass the ball. I think they need to move it quick, play forward when they can. You see Mickey van de Ven, he's stepping into that space, play forward when they can, have forward runners, but the key to it is moving the ball quickly. Try and move this Slavia team. Can they create them little pockets? Can they create them spaces in the middle of the pitch so they can get the talented players on the ball?
So still very much the early stages here. Free kick to Spurs, left-hand sided defence. Mickey van de Ven, who scored a spectacular goal against Copenhagen in early November in this competition. He ran the length of the pitch. Also scored against Bodo Glimt. He's got 2 Champions League goals, Mickey van de Ven, this campaign already. He takes the free kick, long and searching, looking for Mo Kudos. Great animation, I have to say, for the visiting Slavia Prague fans. They're down there jumping in unison. They're split into 2 sections, and I'm impressed by how coordinated they are. Everyone in the left-hand section is all wearing red, and everyone in the right-hand section is all wearing white. I mean, someone has put a bit of thought into this, Andy.
Yeah, I was listening to them while you were downstairs having a little munch. I was listening to them, and they were very vocal. They're loud. It is great, the European competitions, when the away fans, they bring such colour and vibrancy to it, don't they?
What they very much would love is a victory here to surprise Spurs. Slavia Prague tonight as Richarlison comes forward here, gives it to Kudus on the right hand side. This is just outside the penalty area of the Tottenham attack, and a challenge comes in on him from Sanyang, who's one of the 2 changes to the team tonight. Slavia Prague, who played their domestic last game on Friday, so they've had a couple of days to rest and recuperate ahead of this one. They're coming up towards the winter break in the league in the Czech top flight. So Odebear here, tricky feet, tries to take on the fullback Olesh, who does well against him, and the loose ball is picked up by Jed Spence into the feet of Xavi Simons. Good interception again by Olesh. He'll come away down the right wing until he is stopped in his tracks by Archie Gray, and it's no free kick, it's a throw into Spurs.
Yeah, I think in the early stages we can see that this left-hand side is going to be really important for Tottenham. You've got plenty of pace in Odegaard, and then we know how quick Jed Spence is as well. When he opens his legs and he's striding out, he's very difficult to stay with. So I would imagine they'll be wanting to get the ball out to these 2 players pretty quickly and then let them get at the defenders.
Early stages of all of the 8 o'clock kickoffs of the Champions League. There are no goals to tell you about elsewhere. Earlier on this evening in the tea time games, Bayern Munich were 3-1 winners against Sporting, and Olympiacos won away at Karat. Serge Gnabry, Karl scored again, the kid, and Jonathan Tazwell for Bayern Munich with a Joshua Kimmich own goal. Highlights of all of this week's Champions League games tomorrow night on BBC One at 10:40. You can see all the goals from all the games. The Slavia head coach, Jindřich Trpišovský, is down there wearing a bright white hat. Looks like he's about to go out and play a round of golf. Got the little zip up top as well, and he's bellowing the instructions. Got a silver beard, does Jindřich Trpišovský. And right in front of him, Jed Spence takes the throw and gets it back from Archie Gray. Spurs are going to have to retreat back into their own half to control this as Van de Ven rolls it across to Christian Romero. Romero in the orange boots, the Argentinian, up to the centre circle, picks a good accurate ball to the Brazilian Richarlison, trying to sort of flick it into his own path and run onto it, but that was well anticipated by Hallobeck. And now Spence has to stretch here, but he loses out, and the loose ball falls to Dodera, who comes down the right wing, but he's played a pass too far in front of Provod. Spurs regain possession, left full back position. Christian Romero glancing over his shoulder as he protects the ball down by the corner flag, very composed as he wriggles free and manages to clear the ball away, but it's straight to Olesh, and Slavia Prague will stay on the attack here. Good challenge on the edge of his own penalty area from João Pelinha. This now is Provod again on the right hand side. Attacking third of the pitch for Slavia Prague now, as they play it around, and maybe they're going to deliver it in now. Provod into the penalty area, right about the penalty spot. Christian Romero has ballooned it straight up into the air. He then wins the header when it comes down again. Xavi Simons, one of the smallest players on the pitch, tries to jump and can't get a touch, and in the end Moses just hoists it into the air, and that is easy pickings for Vicario. It is Spurs 0, Slavia Prague 0 for now.
This the Slavia formation and the style is actually quite interesting, because, like you mentioned earlier, looks like it's a back 4.
Hang on, it's a chance for Spurs. Xavi Simons trying to break through, doesn't have the pace though. Provod did really well sprinting back, and just when it looked like that was going to open up for Spurs, Xavi Simons found himself outpaced.
Yeah, what they're doing is a flat back 4, and there's gaps all over it because they keep stepping in to go tight.
Charleston to Xavi Simons. Kudos with a lovely flick. And Porro tries to shoot. And it comes off David Zima. And Slavia Prague clear it away. This could be an entertaining game, the way the opening 7 minutes have panned out so far.
Yeah, no, I think so. When Tottenham get into the Slavia Prague half, they go man-to-man. And you see centre-backs are stepping in to go tight on Jed Spence, who's in the pitch at the moment, Xavi Simons. So what it's doing is it's leaving gaps. So you can see the Spurs players are running forward all the time.
Archie Gray's made a great charge forward here. Right wing position. Ogbu comes across to keep club tabs on him. Porro now has gone underlapping almost to the byline and then rolls it back to Kudos once again. Spurs happy to hold under possession. Back to João Palhinha, who runs into a little bit of trouble, has to stretch to get the ball first, but does hold on to possession, playing it back to Christian Romero. Spurs 0, Slavia Prague 0, 8 minutes played in North London on Sports Extra. This is Odobert on the left wing, and very tightly marked there by Dodera, as the ball is played through Mickey van der Ven and back to Vicario, the keeper.
Yeah, I think the key for Spurs here is going to be rotations. If they, when you play against a man-to-man system, particularly in the forward areas, if you can rotate, if you can come off into pockets and leave spaces for runs in behind, or people can interchange positions, I think it becomes very, very difficult to stay with them. So I think Tottenham could get quite a bit of joy if they keep rotating. We've already seen Jed Spence going in and playing in midfield. Archie Gray has made forward runs, and because it's so defensive, Tottenham can afford to push them extra men forward.
There's a full programme of games in the EFL this evening. In the Championship, a 7:45 kickoff. Southampton are already 2-0 up against West Brom, and Sheffield Wednesday are leading away at Watford. All the other games are scoreless for the moment. In League One, Northampton have taken the lead at home against Huddersfield. Peterborough are 1-up away at Reading, and again all the other games in League One are still 0-0. Down into League Two, Barnet have taken the lead at home against Bristol Rovers. Crawley leading away at Bromley. Cambridge United 1, Chesterfield 0. MK Dons are 2-1 up away at Notts County, and the rest of the games scoreless for the moment. We're in the 10th minute in the Champions League at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and Mickey van der Ven coming out of defence rolls it up to Jed Spence near the halfway line. Now he's asking a lot of Odobert here. Ball over the top, but Odobert's got great pace to get onto it. Beats Holish in the sprint. Now holding it up to see who's with him. Good balance from Odobert to keep that alive. He's supported now by Jed Spence. This is all 10 yards outside the penalty area. The Tottenham Hotspur attack. They're playing from right to left as we look down here from our position high up in this futuristic stadium. As back into the centre circle goes Spurs. And back to Christian Romero, who tries to play one in front of Kudos. That's a great pass. Kudos into the penalty area. Gets his shot away. And it's saved by the leg of the keeper. What a ball that was from Christian Romero.
Yeah, really good pass. Weighted pass. He's just slipped it on the inside. And it's a really good run from Kudos. It's on his right foot, so he can't get enough purchase on it, but he's done well to hold the defender off and to get a shot off. But I think the keeper does well in the end. He stands up, and it was good play from Tottenham, and I think it shows a good variety in how they want to go about this tonight.
Not sure that was going on target from Mohamed Kudus. We've just seen the replay. The keeper, of course, wasn't to know, and he had to make the save, and he's put it out for the corner. But as it stands, Spurs have had one attempt on target in this game so far. It came inside the opening 60 seconds. Richarlison, who should have scored with a goal at his mercy, hammered it off the shoulder of Jindřich Staněk, and this game remains 0-0. Corner to Spurs. Kudos to take. Over by the corner of the stadium where the travelling Slavia fans are housed. Short run up for Kudos. Delivers it in though with good intent. The goalkeeper thought for a second about catching it and then decided to punch away, and it goes out for a throw into Spurs.
Yeah, there's so many bodies in that 6-yard box there. It's difficult, and to be fair to the keeper, he came and he was quite aggressive with his punch, and he got good distance on it.
A chance to attack down the right hand side here for Sanyang, and it's a real breakaway counter-attack. There's no one up with him. Pedro Porro had come across from right back to cover the left hand side. Sanyang has delivered a good ball into the middle, and a shot across the face of goal from Probon is ultimately wide, but that's the best opportunity from the side from Czechia so far.
Well, it's set up nicely for Provod. Really good ball across the pitch. He's taking it down on his chest and on his favoured left foot, and he strikes it, and he doesn't get enough connection on it, and he just drags it a little bit wide. But I think he could have done a little bit better with that. It wasn't an easy chance by any stretch, but it probably shows you there the Spurs just need to be switched on, because there will be chances on the counter if they overcommit. Lukas
Provod, who has scored 4 goals in all competitions this season. Slavia will hope that's something to build on, but now Spurs are coming forward. Xavi Simons challenge comes in by Halopek. Play on to the referee. Richarlison shoots from outside the tee. That was on target. It was swerving away from the goalkeeper, and Staniak diving to his right makes the save. 0-0.
Yeah, give the referee a bit of credit. He played on there. Simmons was fouled. The ref played on. The ball fell to Richarlison. He was about 25, 30 yards out, and he struck it really nicely. And the keeper's done well to parry it out. But more positivity for Tottenham. They'll be hoping they can get that forced goal. I think if they get that forced goal, you can see plenty of chances and plenty of goals coming for this Tottenham side. But it's just that getting that forced one. As long as it's 0-0, Slavia still have something to hold on to.
The referee's writing in his notebook here. I'm just wondering, has he shown a card for something off the ball maybe? Well, yes, he has. It's a yellow card for Stefan Halopek. So he allowed play to continue, but he's come back and he's shown the yellow card for that challenge, which had chopped down Xavi Simons. So that is a yellow card to one of the, I was going to say one of the back four, one of the back whatever it is now in a yellow card and has to be careful. Moses here has it on the edge of his own penalty area for Slavia Prague, and he's trying to play out of trouble, but too many white shirts around him. Pedro Porro will spike it forward. Richarlison tries to chase all the way to the byline. Holish was hoping that would go out of play for a goal kick, but he had to turn and swivel. He's done well under pressure, and Slavia Prague will work it back to the goalkeeper again.
It is interesting. I know we're having a bit of a joke about that, a back six or a back whatever it is, but it's a strange formation. I'm not too sure I've seen this before. And what you find, you've got a back six, but then two of the centre backs are going in tight into midfield at times, and they have to, so it looks like man to man. But when they give away the ball, Slavia Prague, and they're out of position, there's gaps all over the place.
Good run by Mickey van der Ven, but he has caught Hegel with a arm in the face, and that was spotted by the referee, and that is going to be a free kick to the visitors, Slavia Prague, and it's going to be a yellow card for Mickey van der Ven. Now I wonder, was that for the challenge, or was it because he played on and didn't? He seemed to take a while to sort of stop and give the ball back there, Mickey van der Ven. He's appealing with the fourth official as well about this. Got to be careful. I mean, we've seen instances this season where someone complaining about a yellow ends up getting another one, but Mickey van der Ven has now decided he said his piece. No, in fact, he hasn't. He's still continuing discussions.
I can see why he's annoyed. I don't really think it's bad. He's kind of jostling as he's pushing through. He gets his arm up to get a little bit of leverage. Maybe catches him a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not too sure. I think it's a little bit harsh, and I definitely don't think it's a booking.
Yeah.
But what you have to be as a centre back now, you've still got 75 minutes or so to play on a yellow card.
Yep. So both teams with a defender on yellow now. Van der Ven for Spurs and Halopek for Slavia Prague. So free kick to the visitors. Quarter of an hour played in North London. The Champions League on 5 Live Sports Extra BBC Sounds. Sedilek, experienced Czech international, standing over this. Plays it short for Lukáš Provod. Now to the right hand side to Dodera. Back into Provod again. Body language suggests he fancies this, and he shoots from miles out. It was on target. Vicario couldn't hold on to it. Following up, David Moses crashes it into the side netting. He should have done better there. It was very speculative for Provod to shoot from that distance, but Vicario seemed to have difficulty holding on to it.
Yeah, he did. It was a good strike, and they had a warning a couple of minutes ago with Provod on his left foot, and he showed him inside on his left foot. It was actually a well-worked free kick. They had a 4v3 on this near side here.
Nicely done by Mohamed Kudus there. Xavi Simons plays it first time out to the left wing. Wilson Odobert controls. Holish comes across to him. Odobert's dancing feet delivers in a low right-footed cross. Good positioning by Dodera, who got back in field of Holish there, and the ball goes out of play for a throw into Tottenham Hotspur down their left-hand side.
He started well, Odobert. He looks sharp. He looks nimble. He's got a trick in the locker. You can see that, and he's got a really good change of pace. The acceleration is there, and Tottenham will be wanting to get the ball to him as much as they can.
Spence backheels the ball to keep it in play, but that actually gives away possession. And Dodera tries to break over the halfway line, and Provod it was actually, but he can't go anywhere. Spurs win it back. Christian Romero inside the central third of the field. Spurs playing from right to left as we look down, wearing all white. Up to Richarlison, who gets there ahead of the athletic-looking Igor Ogbu, who was lunging in behind him. Odobert now picks it up again and looks for space, and he's played a crossfield ball here, which is in danger of giving away possession, actually. Challenging for it over there was Halopek, and Spurs do hold on to possession as here comes Kudus. Heavy touch from him, shows a bit too much of it to Sang Yang, but Spurs keep it going. Xavi Simons tries to flick it on to Richarlison inside him, but it's cleared away for Slavia. Back into the Spurs half once again, still 0-0.
Yeah, every time it gets cleared, it's Tottenham players that are landing on it. They're winning all the second balls, and they're just able to start the attacks again. And the building, they're slowly getting higher up the pitch. They've got plenty of possession. Probably haven't created enough kind of clear-cut chances other than that one in the first minute from Richarlison. He'll be itching to get another chance, by the way. Richarlison, that'll be playing on his mind. Every striker, when they miss a chance like that, plays on the mind until they get the next chance.
Yes, just for listeners joining us, Richarlison had a glorious opportunity inside the first 60 seconds. Here's David Moses controlling it on the edge of the D of the penalty area, short to Provod, who tumbles over of his own accord, and Mickey van de Ven comes scorching clear up to the halfway line, already stopped by a good challenge. Tomasz Holeś tackling Mickey van de Ven, and now it's Slavia's turn to attack down the right hand side. There's been a real nice flow to this game so far. It's not getting bogged down in the midfield at all. It's one end to the other.
Yeah, and there's a good tempo to it. It's just having a little chuckle there at the when Van de Ven gets on the ball and he's running from his own half. They're almost expecting him to get all the way up there and get a shot off. It's there's a buzz of excitement goes around the stadium. I mean, we know how quick he is.
He scored that wonderful goal recently from inside his own half with a run against Copenhagen. I mean, Son is here tonight, who famously scored a goal at this stadium when he ran from the edge of his own penalty area. That was against Burnley. I remember being here a few seasons back. And I remember earlier on, or maybe it was last season at Old Trafford, I remember right at the start of the game, Van de Ven made a great charge. He didn't score, but he set up a goal for someone else. And he is a master at doing that. As a corner for Slavia is played in and well held by Vicario, stretching at the far post to gather, and then all in one motion he bowls it out to Kudos, who now switches it back to the left-hand side, and Xavi Simons, ball bounces up onto his arm, and the Slavia contingent are screaming for a free kick there, and after a little bit of deliberation, the referee agrees. It wasn't intentional, but it did strike his arm, and it wasn't off his own body. It was the bounce that eluded him there. So that's why the French referee Benoit Bastien gives the free kick to Slavia Prague there.
Yeah, we just see a replay of it there, and I think it is handball. He doesn't quite get the touch right. Skids off his foot, skids off the ground, bounce up, hits him on the elbow. It's a free kick, even though he was complaining.
Sanyang plays it forward for Slavia Prague, trying to get it up to Hegel, and it floats over the top of him and Van de Ven, and becomes an easy pick for Jed Spence at left back for Spurs tonight. Thomas Frank, who's made two changes from the win against Brentford. João Palhinha into the midfield for Bentancur, and Odegaard, who's been preferred to Randall Kolomoani, who did score his first goals for Spurs in their most recent Champions League game. That was back at his parent club Paris Saint-Germain a couple of weeks ago. 20 minutes played now, Spurs 0, Slavia Prague 0.
It's an interesting game, this, and it's one that at this moment in time is pretty even, and I think what Slavia Prague have done, they've given Tottenham just enough to think about with them couple of breaks and them couple of chances that they've got. But I do feel it's a game that Tottenham can have a lot of joy in.
Xavi Simons has played a lovely 1-2 there with Jed Spence. Now he passes it out to the right wing. Kudos into the penalty area. Great acceleration. Cross the face of goal and put out by Holeś for a corner. So close again for Spurs. Odegaard was ready for the tap in, but the defender with the bleached hair got there first to put it out for the corner.
Brilliant play by Kudos. He got the defender into the box, he checks inside, and as the defender's turning, he drags it back then onto his right foot and puts a good ball into the box. He's looked lively as well when he's got 1v1. He's very difficult to go against. He's got that low centre of gravity, change of direction, change of pace really quickly. Good play from Tottenham.
Chelsea still 0-0 at Atalanta. Liverpool still 0-0 away at Inter Milan. Spurs with a quarter here in North London, 0-0 against Slavia Prague. 21 minutes on the clock. Porro's right foot delivery, plenty in swing on that, but an easy catch for the goalkeeper Staniek, wearing all bright yellow, and he bowls it out to Holeś on the right hand side, who plays a quick early ball up over the halfway line. Spence comes across to shut that down. Good play from him, and the ball goes out of play. Last touch came off Dodera, and that is a throw into Spurs. Good covering by Jed Spence to snuff out the risk of a counter-attack there.
I'm not too sure corners into the box are going to be the one for Tottenham tonight. You know, you look at the amount of defenders that's on the pitch for Slavia. Anytime you play against a Czech team, whether it's international or club, they always have physically strong players, physically big players, and there's plenty of them on show here tonight. So just wonder whether Tottenham can walk a couple of short corners and they might get some joy from that.
Spurs have had plenty attacking. Vicario and Spence nearly get in a tangle there, passing between the two of them. Spence slipped. Wasn't a great pass from Vicario because Spence was under pressure from an opponent. Anyway, they get away with that. Down the other end, a miscue from Holish. That won't be deemed to be a deliberate back pass, so the goalkeeper Staniek is able to pick it up. We're almost midway through the first half. Spurs, who had more shots in the opening 15 minutes of this game than any Champions League match they've played in the last 8 years, according to Opta. Just to give you an indication of how attack-minded Thomas Frank's team have been in this opening quarter of the match. That said, Slavia Prague, despite their defensive formation, they are willing to get forward when they have possession, as Hickel tries to do down the right-hand side here, but he's stopped by Mickey van der Ven.
Yeah, they're doing enough just to keep Tottenham honest, but we were just about to kind of get into it before the last attack. I just feel that if Tottenham get a goal, or they just up the tempo just a little bit more, that they could probably blow the Slavia team away. They could probably get 2, 3 or 4. The way that they're set up and that man-to-man formation, the way that they're going after them, the space is there.
Dodera's cross is good, and it's a header off target. Big chance. That's one of the best opportunities of the game so far, as a header at the front post just goes wide of the target. Really nice delivery in though from Dodera, and it was Sedilek with the header, and he knows he should have done better there. That's the best chance they've had.
Lovely shape on the cross, really, really good. Movement into the box was good, and he just got too much purchase on the header. He just needed to skid off the side of his head a little bit more.
Oh, Jed Spence has made a lovely lunge forward here. He's got it 10 yards outside the penalty area. Plays a pass to Odegaard. You can hear the groans because it's overstruck. That's taken some of the momentum out of this Tottenham Hotspur attack, but Odegaard has managed to resuscitate the move, gives it back to Jed Spence, level with the edge of the penalty area that Tottenham are attacking down the left-hand side. Archie Gray forced to retreat even further now, and he passes it back to the halfway line to Mickey van der Ven, and now into the centre circle to Christian Romero. Spurs 0, Slavia Prague 0, and under pressure in the midfield, João Paulinho turns and gives it all the way back to the goalkeeper.
Been looking forward to seeing Archie Gray playing in midfield. First time I've seen him play live in midfield. We played a lot in the full-back positions kind of over the last year, 18 months, so actually to see him play in his natural position, I'm excited for him. He's a talented player. He's still got loads of development to go, but he's got talent, that's for sure.
Here is Kudus, middle of the midfield. He's got David Zima for company. What a turn from Kudus to accelerate away for the player. He just turned in a big U shape, and he still goes here. Little stumble with an attempt to trip on the edge of the penalty area. Referee says play on. Odegaard's delivery too close to the keeper. Brilliant run from Kudus. Odegaard should have done better with the cross there.
Yeah, it was good play though. Kudus, real good acceleration. Defenders couldn't stick with him. There was 2 or 3 of them chasing him. He uses his strength, he uses his body really well and manipulates the ball. And then when he does get through, then he's getting across his man.
That's another nice pass. Spurs are beginning to get behind the lines with more regularity now. Richarlison, good ball in field, but Kudus' first touch is way too heavy. Had he controlled that, that was a clean shot at goal. It seemed to just come off his shin or something, and too close to the defender who was able to put it out for a corner. But Spurs are improving as this game continues.
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's a touch of Bielsa about how Slavia go about this. You know, there's a real man-to-man feel. They're going and pressing kind of everywhere, really, and it's leaving gaps, and it's actually making for quite an exciting game. I think it's just a game that needs a goal.
Yeah, 0-0 for the moment. Latest Spurs corner. Now, they've had a few of these, and they've all either been cut or punched by the goalkeeper. What can Pedro Porro do here? Left-hand side of Spurs come forward. Busy 6-yard box, congested area in there. And here it comes, lower trajectory this time. Flick on by Romero, flicked into the back of the net. And Tottenham Hotspur take the lead. I think it's going to be an own goal of David Zima. Spurs in front of the Champions League at home again. Spurs 1, Slavia Prague 0. Christian Romero gets the celebrations from his teammates, but the last touch there went in off David Zima, and Spurs get the breakthrough.
Well, I take it back. I said they should play short corners a couple of minutes ago. Absolutely not. A good delivery into the box, and you get the first contact from Romero, and then I'm not too sure what the defender, how he's it's actually quite comical. The defender, he just hasn't been able to move his feet quick enough. He's going back towards his own goal, and it pops off his head and into his own goal. You know, as a coach, you'd be tearing your hair out of that. You really would. It's inexplicable, really. He almost has a wry smile on his face.
It's exactly that. He just couldn't get his feet right. He found himself leading towards his own goal, heading the ball, and no chance for goalkeeper Staniek for that sort of close range. Right, Well, Andy Reid, you mentioned a few moments ago that if Spurs could get one, the floodgates could open up a little bit here. Tottenham Hotspur fans hoping that will be the case. They've got the lead, the own goal, with Son Heung-min looking on approvingly in the stands. This is proving to be a good night for Spurs so far. But of course, we know well in the Champions League, things can change, and they can change quickly, and they can change dramatically. And Spurs, remember, who took the lead against Paris Saint-Germain in their last game in this competition and ended up conceding 5 goals, so you never quite know. Mickey van de Ven's clearance on the edge of his own penalty area. Kudus is going to have a gallop here, and if he can get there, which he can, ahead of Ogbu, and now he's got the outrunner outside him of Pedro Porro. Good recovery from Moses, who got back to help Ogbu there, and Spurs are going to just about hold on to it on the far side of the pitch without a handball by Ogbu. Referee says play on. That's definitely a foul on Pedro Porro. Ogbu putting his arms around the shoulder of the Spaniard. That's a yellow card for him. Yellow for Igor Ogbu, the Nigerian international, and a free kick to Tottenham. Crossing position on the right hand side. Spurs leading Slavia Prague on Sports Extra by 1-0.
Yeah, you just mentioned it there. I really feel that if Tottenham can keep their foot on the gas, if they can keep playing with a high tempo, keep moving this Slavia team around, creating them gaps for runners to go into, I think there's definitely 3 or 4 goals, and it would be a really good night for them to kind of put some of them doubts to the side and just really go at this game and get a few goals.
Spurs leading 1-0 here. Interesting scoreline coming to us from Barcelona. It's Barcelona 0, Eintracht Frankfurt 1. With about half an hour played there. Still no goal. Oh, sorry, hang on. Chelsea have just scored. Atalanta 0, Chelsea 1. More details on that in just a moment after this Tottenham Hotspur free kick, which will be played in by Pedro Porro from the right-hand side. Just too high for Romero. That was close for him. Odegaard's going to sprint to the touchline and does manage to keep the ball in play. And most of his teammates are still up in that advanced position for the free kick. Porro, who had taken the free kick, is in acres of space on the right-hand side. And he takes one touch to steady himself. And he plays it in, looking for Mickey van de Ven. And galloping out of his 6-yard box, Jindřich Staněk makes the save.
Really good cross from Porro there. He's whipped it in with good pace. I always feel with wingers and fullbacks, when they're putting it into the box, they've got to put it in with pace, really let the attackers go and have a go at getting on the end of it, and they did there. The keepers actually come and claim that really well.
João Pedro scoring the goal for Chelsea after 25 minutes in Italy. So Spurs want a free kick here on the edge of the area for a foul on Xavi Simons, but the referee says no, he was well located there. Benoit Bastille, he was close to that. He said it wasn't a foul, and then he gives possession the other way back to Slavia Prague. But Spurs still leading here by 1-0.
I do feel with Xavi Simons sometimes he just maybe lacks that little bit of acceleration. That, you know, he's done really well, manipulated the ball really well, used his body really well, but then he just couldn't get away from the defenders. Then that little bit of acceleration, that electric pace that I think you need at the highest level.
So Liverpool still 0-0 away in Milan against Inter tonight. Much talk, of course, across what's happening behind the scenes at Anfield and the pressure that Arne Slot is under, and now the whole Mo Salah situation making things even worse as Pedro Porro comes forward here for Spurs. Half an hour on the big stadium clock. Plays a good ball in towards Richarlison, wins the header, tries to tee it up for the arriving Archie Gray, and well anticipated by Staněk, the goalkeeper, quick off his line again to get there just ahead of the former Leeds United man.
But again, there's huge gaps in the considering that they've got kind of 6 defenders. There's huge gaps appearing time and time again for Tottenham to run into, and that time it was Porro on that right hand side. It was a good switch to Richarlison, tried to knock it back across goal, but just couldn't get there. Archie Gray, he was a yard or 2 off.
By the way, Liverpool have started tonight with Isak and Ekitike both in attack. Then they've got a midfield of Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Jones and McAllister, as Arne Slot tries to find the formation that could get things clicking for the reigning Premier League champions. Commentary of that game is available right now over on our sister station 5 Live. But elsewhere in the Champions League tonight, PSV Eindhoven are leading Atletico Madrid by 1-0, and Union Saint-Gilloise are 1-1 at home against Marseille. It's 1-0 to Spurs here in North London, and it's a throw-in for the visitors, Slavia Prague, taken by Dodera on the right-hand side. He gets it back again, missed by Xavi Simons at the front post, but Spurs had plenty covering behind, as Slavia Prague is still keeping this attack alive down the right-hand side. Provod twisting and teasing ahead of Odegaard, gives it back to Dodera, swings in a decent cross, but Moses can't get a touch on it, and then a shot is cracked in by Sanyang and saved by Vicario, diving to his right hand side. It's been a good response from Slavia Prague. They've gone behind in unfortunate own goal, but their heads haven't dropped. Their body language still looks good.
Yeah, they look like they have a couple of decent players in possession. You know, Provod's been good. He's had a couple of attempts. Sanyang there, that was a good effort. Forced Vicario down to his right-hand side there, and could have been nasty enough for Tottenham. I mean, it's a save that you would expect him to make, but again, just a little bit of joy for Slavia Prague that we're hoping can move back into this game with a chance like that.
Yeah, the own goal tonight scored by David Zima, and it means that Spurs have now benefited from more own goals in the Champions League this campaign than any other team. Thomas Frank won't care who gets the last touch as long as his team get the goals. Here's a penalty appeal. Hagel going down in the penalty area. To be fair, the appeal was more for the Slavia fans than the player himself, who's just got up and got on with it. But just a little clumsy nature to the challenge inside the penalty area here for Mickey van de Ven. But looking at the replay, I don't think there's a foul.
No, there's nothing in that for me. I think what Tottenham have been able to do, because they've had really good possession, you've seen Palhinha in front of the two centre-backs in Van de Ven and Romero, and that's allowed Spence on one side and Porro on the other side to play pretty much as high as they want, and Jed Spence has stepped inside sometimes and left over the bar out wide, so they've been able to commit plenty of men forward, and they've really got some joy in being able to pin Slavia Prague and find them gaps and find them holes in the defence.
Just a break in play here, just for an injury to Richarlison, who's down holding his head. There are 8 games in the Championship tonight. Preston have had Liam Lindsay sent off. They're still 0-0 against leaders Coventry. Second place Middlesbrough have scored against Charlton away from home. Riley McGree, the goal scorer there. And bottom club Sheffield Wednesday still leading at Watford tonight in the Championship, on an evening when Southampton have scorched away to a 3-goal first half lead against West Bromwich Albion. Details of all those games on the BBC Sport website right now. So Richarlison is going to be okay to continue. Play will resume. Possession with Slavia Prague inside their own half. Spurs leading by a 1-0. The goal which came after 25 minutes tonight. Spurs, who earlier had a glorious opportunity for Richarlison that he didn't take. There's a clearance from Staniak, the goalkeeper for Slavia Prague, goes straight on the play, bang on the halfway line, and that'll be a throw-in to Tottenham Hotspur and for Jed Spence. What do you make of Spence's different colour boots, Andy? One green boot on his left and one orange boot on his right.
You know, I'm all for individuality, you know, for people kind of expressing themselves a bit, but I don't know, I'm not too sure. I don't think that would have suited me, Connor.
No, the jury's still out on that one. I mean, that would have been a talking point if you came out in those, Andy.
Got some stick back home.
Yeah, absolutely. As Slavia tried to clear the ball away. Did that go out of play? It did. Out of play before they brought it back in again. So throw into Tottenham on the left-hand side. Slavia Prague's continuing their choreography. Their fans on the far side, they've got the scarves up now. They're obviously singing one of the club anthems as Christian Romero plays a long direct ball forward. What a good pass that is. Jed Spence controls in the penalty area, pulls it back across the face of the box. It's miscued somewhat by Kudos, who's going to lose possession here. That was a great ball. I wonder if Spence might have just got the shot away a little bit earlier, but Romero's passing has been excellent tonight, as here come Slavia Prague attacking down the left hand side. Sanyang, and now back into the midfield, and this is Halopek, and he gives a good pass to the right hand side to Dodera. Jed Spence, maybe with a bit of frustration at not getting the shot away at the other end, comes back and very robust shoulder charge, hard but fair, to put the ball out of play for a throw in to Slavia Prague, and they take it quickly. And this is Moses back out to Dodera, steadies himself, really dangerous cross, bounces up at the back post. Staniak tries to get the shot away, can't find his balance. Provod gets barraged into by Christian Romero, but the ball goes out of the penalty area and out of play on the far side for a throw into the visitors. Still Spurs 1, Slavia Prague 0.
Yeah, it's a really good ball from Dodera. He's whipped in 3 or 4 balls tonight, and a little bit unlucky that it's just skidded off the turf at the back post, and Provod couldn't deal with it. Then it popped up and he's trying to control it with his shoulder, kind of top of his chest, and he couldn't bring it under control. But I like the Dodera when he's in them wide areas. He's whipped some great balls in tonight.
Yes, David Dodera, Czech international, 15 caps to his name. Running a lot of hard yards to keep up with attack and be back in defence, such as the system being deployed by his coach Jindřich Trpišovský in London this evening. Kudus' possession for Spurs on the right hand side for them. There's about 8 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half here. Christian Romero near the halfway line plays another good ball, looking for Richarlison, who says that he's been struck in the face there by Ogbu. I think Ogbu was just running in his natural line, and Richarlison trying to get around him felt the force of that. But another good pass from Romero. His radar is really switched on tonight.
Yeah, he's been excellent tonight. I'd say he's probably been the best footballer on the pitch, particularly in possession. He's passed the ball really, really well, and I think them forward passes and forward runs, I would be very surprised if Tottenham don't end up getting some sort of 1v1 against the keeper at some point in the game.
Moses heads it down to Provod, and now it's released up to Sadilek, and he gives it out to the left hand side to Sanyang. How Slavia Prague would love to get an equaliser ahead of half time. Moses in the penalty area, pulls it back. Sadilek shot has no power. That's a big chance, but he just couldn't get momentum on the shot, and it ended up being an easy save for Vicario.
Yeah, best chance of the night. That for Slavia, really well worked. It goes into the 10 position, and get the ball out wide. Good combination in the wide area. He just can't get enough purchase on the ball when it gets pulled back to him. That is a really good chance. He was leaning back, he just couldn't get that whip that he needed, and ended up being a comfortable save. But I think what it is, it's just a warning sign for Tottenham, isn't it? You can't switch off at any stage.
Yeah, no, this is not by any means done and dusted yet. Spurs leading by the David Zima own goal. But Slavia Prague have shown they are certainly capable of scoring away from home in the Champions League tonight, something they've not done in their last 4 games home or away in this competition. And remember, Spurs have yet to concede a goal at home in the Champions League this season, but it's going to take concentration and a lot of hard work for Spurs to keep a clean sheet tonight from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's good with the amount of men that Tottenham have been very adventurous tonight, I have to say, with the amount of men that they've committed forward. But what that does is it does leave spaces behind, and there will be space on transition for Slavia. They've shown that they can get into good areas. We're yet to see at the moment whether they have that real quality to be able to take one of them chances that they create.
In Milan, Liverpool thought they had scored, but Ibrahima Konate's goal was disallowed, so it is still 0-0 between Inter Milan and Liverpool. Commentary over on 5 Live. Chelsea still leading in Italy against Atalanta thanks to João Pedro's goal. And here in North London, Spurs leading Slavia Prague by 1-0 on Sports Extra. This is Pedro Porro. Excellent control there under pressure from Sanya. Gives it to Kudus on the right hand side. Accelerates into the penalty area. Kudus flicks it into the middle. Richarlison up trying a volley. That didn't come off because the defender was too close. And Slavia Prague relieved to get it away. But for a moment there, I thought we were going to see a spectacular effort from Richarlison. Free kick has been given for a foul on Todera. And as you can hear in the background, the Spurs fans don't like that. The yellow card has been shown to João Palhinha, but the Spurs fans felt that the referees got that one wrong. It'll be interesting to see the replay of this one, Andy.
Yeah, he slides in and he comes from a little bit of a distance. And in the modern day game, it is a free kick, and it probably is a booking. Me personally, I think it's a good tackle. I think it's a contact sport. I don't think it's dangerous. He hasn't left the ground. But if you're going on what's given now for free kicks and for bookings, then I think that's then it is. You can see how disappointed he is, and you could hear the moans and the groans from the crowd, because you want to be able to see a good fair tackle in the game now. And
he slides in, he wins the ball cleanly, but and then his sort of backside area sort of then cannons into the foot of the player in the aftermath. I mean, it's not going to hurt the player as such, but because of the pace that he's come into that slide, I think that's what's made the officials feel there was a reckless nature to that. But anyway, yellow card for João Palhinha, who does get a lot of bookings, doesn't he? But that one maybe was a little bit unfortunate for the Portuguese international. Spurs 1, Slavia Prague 0 for now. Just over 4 minutes remaining in the first half here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Thomas Frank will be pleased. On another night, his team could be 2, maybe 3 up by now. And he'll be hoping for more of the same the longer this game continues. Free kick taken by Staniek, the goalkeeper who came out of his penalty area to take it. Launch long towards the edge of the Spurs box. Van de Ven wins a header, but Slavia Prague get it back. Try to dribble their way into the penalty area. Xavi Simons is going to try and relieve a bit of pressure, and he gets it up to Mohamed Kudus. And now the acceleration over the halfway line. Moses trying to keep up with him. Good little swerve in field from Kudus. Moses has another nibble. There's a stumble from Kudus, but he keeps his feet, and the referee waves play on for advantage. That was clearly a foul there. Odebear trying to get into a shooting position down the other end, shoots it in, but it's headed away by Zima, and Slavia Prague should fully clear here with Sanyang, but Kudus does look dangerous every time he comes forward. This is a good bit of movement. David Moses up to the halfway line for Slavia Prague, then Jed Spence makes an important interception to ensure that Hegel's through ball doesn't reach its intended target. This is Odebear on the left hand side, calming ball back to Archie Gray, and Spurs regain possession once again. It
is quite end-to-end though, and you know what, Slavia Prague have actually been quite aggressive out of possession when they're going to get tight. They're going after the ball when they can, especially when it comes into that middle area. Tottenham haven't kept it in the last 5 minutes as well as they would have liked, so it's turned into a little bit of a basketball game with a lot of transitions.
Here's Christian Romero deciding he's going to go on one of those Van de Ven style runs forward. He gets from the halfway line almost into the penalty area, passes out to Kudus on the right hand side. Kudus to the byline, hangs in across for Richarlison, tried to stretch forward, just beaten there by a defender. Xavi Simons will pick it up on the edge of the penalty area, and he passes back to Archie Gray. So Spurs have it, central third of the pitch, leading by a goal to nil here on Sports Extra in the Champions League. João Palhinha in possession on a yellow card. And no easy pass forward for him, so he'll turn and roll it back to Vicario.
Kudus has the beating of Zima every time he gets the ball. He's facing him up and he knows it. He just runs at him. Sometimes he goes on the outside, sometimes he checks, comes back on the inside on his left foot. But he can go either way, and he's got the pace and he's got the acceleration. You just want to keep feeding him, just keep giving him the ball.
Romero, bang on the halfway line, scanning the horizon, looking for the various runs of his colleagues, deciding what's the best pass to play. Opts for a very short one to Archie Gray just alongside him. Gray to Van de Ven, 10 yards into Slavia Prague territory, slightly left of centre, and now out to the left wing into Wilson Odebear, who comes skipping infield and then rolls it back to Archie Gray once again. Spurs 1, Slavia Prague 0. 90 seconds of normal time remaining in the first half. There haven't been considerable stoppages. A couple of minutes, I'd say, to be added on. Romero again at a walking pace on the halfway line here, no pressure on him, so he says okay then, and he says I'll take a little charge here, and he sets off, and he's made up 30 yards, and he gets to the edge of the penalty area, gives it to Kudus on the right hand side. Kudus back to Xavi Simons. This is midway into Slavia Prague territory. Right hand side of Spurs come forward. Kudus gets it again near the touch on the right hand side. Good challenge in by David Zima. Kudus has a nibble to try and regain possession, and it's back to the halfway line to João Palhinha. Spurs hold on to the ball, but that particular attack has come to its end, and we're into the final minute of the first half here.
Zima defended much better that time. He stood up, he watched the ball, he didn't lunge in, and he won the ball back for his team there. Kudus done really well to react and go and win it back again.
Spurs 1, Slavia Prague 0. That goal tonight, the own goal, will go down as Spurs' 100th goal they've ever scored in the Champions League. Richarlison, who should have claimed that honour in the opening minute of this game tonight, but he somehow conspired to not score, to hit it off the goalkeeper Staniek with the entire goal at his mercy from close range. And we're about to find out what's going to be added on for stoppages here out of the break.
It was an incredible miss, really, wasn't it? You know, strikers are like they prey on them chances, and just thought he was going to slip it into the bottom corner for a dream start, and he just got it wrong. It's like it came off his heel or something like that, and it didn't quite get the connection that he wanted, and then it just hit the keeper and went out for a corner. Into
stoppages we go. One solitary minute to be added on here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight. Slavia Prague in possession with Ogbu inside the centre circle. Gives it to Zima on the left-hand side. Now up to Sanyang. He's operating the sort of left wing-back position. That's a great run from Sanyang. Hurdled over Xavi Simons. Tries to set it up for a teammate infield. Provod to the right-hand side to Dodera. And it was an interesting ball into the penalty area, trying to pick out the top scorer, Hegel. But Spurs are able to get it away. Not for a corner, but out for a throw-in. Throw-in to Slavia Prague on the attack. Right-hand side for them, and 10 yards short of the corner flag. Dodera's going to take it. Short throw. receives the ball back again. Very busy penalty area if he can swing it in here. Chooses to give it back to the edge of the box to Moses. Moses to Provod here. Infield again to Sanyang. Spurs coming out with a real high press. João Palhinha putting pressure on Sanyang, but Slavia Prague do well to hold on to the ball. This is Sadilek. Ball into the penalty area. Hetil tried to control it. Back to goal, no way forward there, and Slavia Prague, despite being on the attack on the edge of the area, are out of time for now because the referee blows the whistle for half-time, and it's the own goal from David Zima. Comedy effort, really. You'll see it on the highlights tomorrow night on the Match of the Day Champions League highlights on BBC One at 10:40. Richarlison should have scored earlier. Spurs will feel they'll have another goal or two to say in this. But don't discount Slavia Prague. They've been ambitious, they've worked hard, and they've had a few chances of their own. Here's Andy Reid.
Yeah, it's an interesting game, actually. It's I suppose in some ways a clash of styles. Tottenham are really controlling the tempo, controlling the territory as well. They're getting hold of that ball, knocking it about quite well. And then Slavia Prague then are kind of doing this man-to-man kind of press when Tottenham come into the half. And what's happening then is that there's a load of space coming up and there's a load of pockets becoming free, and then that back line then looks really, really exposed for Tottenham's runners to kind of make a late run in behind. So you just feel that if Tottenham keep up with the rotations and they keep making runs forward and keep passing the ball forward, that there's more goals in it for them. But what I will say about Slavia Prague is they've kept Tottenham honest, and they've created a couple of chances of their own, put a couple of good balls into the box, a couple of shots from the edge, just enough to keep Tottenham interested in this game.
News reaching us from the other games across the Champions League. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and join in with 5 Live for half-time. You'll hear all the details of the other Champions League games and quite possibly hear the closing stages of the first half of Inter against Liverpool. But we'll be back with full second half commentary here on Sports Extra. For now, Spurs 1, Slavia Prague 0.
As now Martinez makes that run to the left-hand side of the penalty area. His cross goes in front of the face of goal, all the way out towards Enrique, who's been extremely quiet. DiMarco pops up now. His cross is cleared by Van Dijk. DiMarco, the left wing-back, was on the right-hand side of the penalty area.
Yeah, interchanging, making moves across the pitch, but brilliant ball from Martinez across the face of Alisson. Alisson just looked at it and hoped that there was no one arriving at the back post.
DiMarco has actually stayed in the central area, so they've now got those 3 players occupying the 2 central defenders, DiMarco, Thuram and Martinez, and still he won't wander away because the width on this stage is being provided by this man, Bastoni, on that far side. Inter still at 0-0, playing from left to right. Coming forward now with Zelensky, who shoots, and it's straight at Alisson. Half-time at Atalanta, Chelsea, Alistair Bruce ball.
Chelsea leading 1-0. They've had one shot on target, it went in. Clever angled finish at the near post by João Pedro, converting Reece James's cross, initially ruled out for offside on the field but corrected by VAR. Atalanta 0, Chelsea 1.
Cheers, Ali. Half-time as well in the Women's Champions League at Arsenal. Sahel Sahi.
Arsenal leading 20 by 1-0. The goal coming after 10 minutes, Beth Mead with a delicate flick. Palova, Mead and Russo, they've all worked the visiting goalkeeper. Half-time, Arsenal 1, 20-0.
Liverpool have got a throw on this near side to left from McAllister. That noise from the end away towards our left I don't think has stopped all night.
No, it hasn't, no. Well, I'd say more so since, are you talking about Liverpool fans? On the left-hand side. I think that's more so since the goal got disallowed, and I think they've just picked up the tempo a bit and thought, do you know what, we need to get behind this team because we haven't so far.
Robertson is unable to control a ball that was played over his right shoulder, bounced away off his left boot, and out then for a goal kick. Now at the top of League One, earlier Port Vale Bradford City was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch at Vale Park. It's third against top at Broadhall Way. Half-time, Angus Patterson.
Stevenage 0, Cardiff 0. Cardiff dominating with two-thirds of the possession and 2 big chances. Top scorer Yusuf Salek missed an absolute gimme header. Stevenage 0, Cardiff 0 at half-time.
Remember, Lincoln are still leading at Sincil Bank. They were 4th in the table against Barnsley by 1-0. So in stoppage time here on BBC Radio 5 Live and also on Radio Merseyside, still goalless, but Mkhitaryan now comes forward. He too is wearing gloves and short sleeves as he enters the penalty area, but he's stopped in his run. It will break back towards Barella. Barella does a 360-degree turn. DiMarco helps it on its way out towards Thuram. DiMarco now gives it to Bastoni. He delivers the cross. Martinez! Great save, Alisson! The downward header pushed away by the Liverpool goalkeeper. Great reflex save.
Unbelievable save. Van Dijk caught napping at the back post. He didn't know where Martinez was. Martinez got a run on him, saw the number on Van Dijk's back. He knew he was in control of the situation. Downward header. Exceptional save from Alisson.
Martinez has scored in all 5 of his Champions League games at home in the calendar year of 2025. 8 goals during that run. He almost made it 6 consecutive home matches by finding the net in Europe's elite competition. In stoppage time, and we're inside the last 60 seconds of the minimum of 7, but Inter are finishing strongly. Mkhitaryan rolls it in, Thuram barged off the ball by Van Dijk. McAllister went to ground not once but twice. I think he was fouled the first time, but the referee let play continue, and Liverpool in then do get a free kick. But that was wonderful from Alisson, wasn't it?
It really was. And one thing you know, when you come away from home in the San Siro and you're playing a very good team, you're going to have to rely on your goalkeeper at times to make big saves. I've seen a save again. I thought it was right in the corner. I thought it was an unbelievable save. It's actually a comfortable save for Alisson. But what Alisson does really well, and he does better than most other goalkeepers, is his decision making within a split second. He knows not to try and hold that ball. He pushes it away to safety because he knows that's the best decision at that moment.
Well, there is the half-time whistle. Inter 0, Liverpool 0. Both sides have had chances. Sommer has saved from Jones and Ekitike. Liverpool had a goal disallowed, VAR for handball in the build-up to a Konate header after 32 minutes, which then sparked Inter into the other end, where a direct free kick from Barella went close, and Alisson made that smart reflex save from Lautaro Martinez. So at the break here at San Siro, Inter 0, Liverpool 0. Kelly.
Thank you very much. We will be back with Ian Dennis and Stephen Warnock for the second half of that game. Andros Townsend rejoins us on 5 Live. Andros, that felt more controlled at times from Liverpool, certainly for the first half hour.
Yeah, I think they started the game well. They started the game bright. They started pressing high up the pitch, man for man with Inter Milan. They got some joy out of it. Ekitike's had some moments. Curtis Jones has been good driving from midfield. They've created 1 or 2 opportunities. Obviously got the goal disallowed. But I think probably in the last 15 minutes they allowed Inter to come back into the game. I think that disallowed goal was the turning point. The fans lifted their levels as well and really spurred Inter Milan into coming back into it. So yeah, Liverpool have to be careful at the start of the second half of Inter Milan's growing dominance in the game.
Yeah, Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk just chatting to the referee, not anything particularly heated at half-time, and you can see the referee sort of indicating where on the arm the ball hit, and it was lower down than the kind of, in inverted commas, t-shirt line that they're looking for. But they did manage to get the goal, Liverpool. Do they have to then reset, do you think, at half-time? As you said, Inter have got back into the game. Once that goal was disallowed, the crowd got behind them, the team picked up, and they created opportunities there.
Yeah, 100%, and I think probably half-time came at a good time for Liverpool, for Arne Slot to sort of get him in to regain composure, to go through what went wrong in the last 10 minutes and just to tell them how well they did do in the first 30 minutes. So I think we'll see a Liverpool come out and look to press high up the pitch again, look to control possession like they did in the first 30 minutes.
Andros, thank you very much. We'll chat to you later on. BBC World Service's John Bennett has been keeping across the rest of the Champions League action this evening. Barcelona standing out, John.
Yes, the Champions League returned to the Nou Camp tonight, but it's not going to plan. At half-time, Barcelona 0, Eintracht Frankfurt 1. So Robert Lewandowski had an early goal ruled out for offside. But after 20 minutes, a breakaway goal for Frankfurt. That high line costing Barcelona yet again. Ansgar Knauf with the finish. So Barcelona, Kelly, as it stands, down to 19th. They often concede first, so it's not all over yet. Marcus Rashford on the bench. They may need him second half. They're 1-0 down.
What else is catching the eye, John?
Well, Marseille, currently, as it stands, up to 9 points. They're 1-0 down against Union Saint-Gilloise, but it's now 2-1 they lead away from home. Igor Paixão following in after Aubameyang's shot was saved. And Aubameyang, the provider for Mason Greenwood, to make it 2-1. So Marseille going well. It's PSV Eindhoven 1, Atletico Madrid 1. PSV have been dominating this match. Gus Til gave them the lead. They had lots of chances to make it 2-0. But Julian Alvarez equalised for Atletico Madrid. They were punished, PSV, for playing out from the back. And finally, Monaco 0, Galatasaray 0. Low-key game. Ilkay Gundogan with the best chance for Galatasaray.
Thank you for now, John. Chat to you later. We're going to look ahead to tomorrow's commentary on 5 Live. It's Real Madrid against Manchester City. Before we do that, though, we've got the BBC News with Juliana Cassidy.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he's ready to hold elections within the next 3 months if allies can guarantee security during polling. He was responding to comments by Donald Trump, who had accused him of using war not to hold an election. A British soldier has died in Ukraine in what the Ministry of Defence has called a tragic accident and not the result of hostile fire. It happened while the soldier was watching military equipment being tested. A murder investigation has begun after a 15-year-old boy was stabbed in Islington in North London this afternoon. He later died in hospital. And a 47-year-old man has been charged with racially abusing the Bournemouth footballer Antoine Semenyo during a match against Liverpool in August. Mark Mogan will appear before Liverpool Magistrates Court later this month.
There he is. My name's Pine. I'm the night manager.
On BBC iPlayer.
Richard Roper is selling arms in the heart of Cairo. I want to put you inside his operation.
You got any idea how dangerous that is?
The brand new series of The Night Manager is coming.
You have to commit.
Get ready by watching Series 1.
Anyone can betray anyone. You have to make a decision.
Don't you dare threaten me!
The Night Manager.
Oh, I can't wait.
On BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Kelly Cates.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Welcome back to 5 Live Sport. Live commentary coming up of the second half of Inter Milan against Liverpool. It's currently 0-0 at half-time in the Champions League. Liverpool have had a goal disallowed for a handball in the build-up. Ibrahima Konate scored, but it was chalked off. Tomorrow night on 5 Live Sport, we'll be at the Bernabeu to bring you more live commentary from the Champions League as Manchester City travel to Real Madrid. John Murray joins us now to look ahead to that game. John, you're going to be obviously part of the commentary team for this one, but Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid are not going well. Is Alonso under pressure?
Under pressure? Honestly, Kelly,
as a Real Madrid manager, is he under pressure? As a Real Madrid manager who isn't going well, is he under pressure?
Yeah, you would not believe it. We were in the Bernabeu earlier this evening, and I was talking to some of my trusted colleagues who cover Real Madrid week in, week out, and I mean, it was a frenzy. You know, by Real Madrid standards, they are in the middle of a crisis here, and Xabi Alonso is right at the start of it, and things have just unravelled for him so quickly in recent weeks. I mean, I was talking to my colleagues, you know, who are based here, Spanish, cover the club week in, week out, year in, year out. I said, so what's the situation? Before I finished the sentence, one of them said, he's dead. And the other one said, yep, he's dead. You know, so they're saying he's finished as the Real Madrid manager, whether it's after tomorrow's match, at the weekend, whenever. And they said it's toxic. They're not a team. I mean, and it is a remarkable fall from grace, really, from the way that they started under Xabi Alonso this season. And let's not forget, he's been in charge for just over 6 months. He's had only 6 months in the job. Start of November, they had a 5-point lead at the top of La Liga over Barcelona. Now they are 4 points behind them. And of course, there was this match at the weekend on Sunday night. They lost 2-0 at home here to Celta Vigo. First time in 22 matches that Celta Vigo had beaten Real Madrid. There were 4 red cards, including Alonso. Endrick as well, as an unused substitute, got a red card. They lost Militao to injury. Honestly, it feels like the wheels have come off, and to add to his troubles, today Kylian Mbappe is injured. He's got a finger injury, but he's also got a leg injury, and it looked as though will not be involved in the match tomorrow night. So honestly, it is remarkable.
Yeah, the leg injury is probably going to be a bit more tricky in terms of playing than the finger injury, you'd imagine, in that one.
An unusual double, a finger and a leg.
One finger, one thumb. Jonathan Woodgate is alongside John Murray. Jonathan, look, as John outlined there, Xabi Alonso looks like his time at Real Madrid is coming to an end, pretty much regardless of what happens against Manchester City tomorrow night. How much of this he'll carry the can for it, but how much of it is his responsibility? How much of it is his doing?
Well, I think it's 50-50 really, because you always look at the manager and the buck stops with the manager. I think you look at the players though, and they haven't been performing recently. I watched them at Liverpool recently and they were really poor. Liverpool really ran over the top of them at the time, and I saw the game against Celta Vigo at the weekend and when they were really poor again. it's obvious it's not working with him and the players. It doesn't seem to be. I don't know what he's done. He might have rubbed them up the wrong way, but they performed under Ancelotti, they performed under Zinedine Zidane, and under Alonso they just haven't done it this season. I hope he gets more time, to be honest with you, because I think he's a top manager, and you can see what he did at Bayer Leverkusen.
Continues that coverage over on 5 Live with the second half of Inter against Liverpool. But here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in North London, Spurs leading Slavia Prague by 1-0. The own goal that came midway through the first half, and the Slavia players are just re-emerging from the tunnel here as Spurs look to keep up what has been, Andy Reid, an impressive Champions League performance. Thomas Frank's team still in the top 4 of the Group League phase.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good first half. I thought they played some good stuff at times. If it was to be maybe overcritical, maybe haven't created enough clear-cut chances, but they've got into some good areas. They played some good football. They've used the ball well in the forward areas at times. Odegaard and Kudus have looked dangerous. Maybe like to see Simmons get into the game a little bit more, and Richarlison should have taken his chance early on. But it wasn't a bad performance at all in the first half, but they want to create more chances.
Back underway, no changes in personnel for either team over half-time. And Slavia Prague wearing their dark shirt with the purple trim, playing from right to left now in this second period. Spurs all in white. Xavi Simons tries to win the ball on the edge of his own penalty area, and he does at the second attempt. Good work from the Dutchman, and he's fouled, and that's going to be a free kick to Tottenham. Now, any game this season that Spurs have been in front at half-time in, they've always gone on to win the match, something Thomas Frank will certainly hope will continue here.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you were a betting man, you would bet on them to probably go and win the game probably pretty comfortably. But as long as it's 1-0, Slavia Prague will still feel that they're in the game, and they will still look to be adventurous when they can and try and take one of them chances.
Spurs 1, Slavia Prague 0, and a throw in for Pedro Porro down the right hand side, midway inside the opposition half. Pedro Porro has been full of his usual hard running in the game so far. Scores elsewhere have just pushed Spurs back to 7th place now in the league standing. It does change dramatically during the course of an evening with so many teams in action, so many games taking place. And these 8 o'clock games will all be getting back underway for their respective second periods now. As a poor pass from Pedro Porro goes straight out of play, and that will return possession back to Slavia Prague again.
Yeah, I think Kudus and Odegaard are the key to this Tottenham performance. If you can get the ball to them, let them go 1v1, they get the defenders into the box with their change of pace, the change of direction, acceleration, and also the technical ability to be able to manipulate the ball. I think they're the real danger men.
Spurs have possession. Jed Spence on the left-hand side, up to Wilson Odegaard, who's going to lose possession here. But very quickly run back again for Spurs by Christian Romero, 10 yards inside his own half. Now João Palhinha, who picked up a yellow card in the first half, as did Mickey van de Ven, and that booking for Mickey van de Ven means the Dutchman will miss Spurs' next Champions League game, which is against Dortmund. So that's not good news for Thomas Frank, as Archie Gray here plays an interesting ball forward. Porro made a bursting run into the penalty area, and Porro from the byline pulls it back, and the referee points to the spot. It was a clumsy challenge by Youssoufa Sanyang, and as Pedro Porro delivered his cross into the centre, he was collided with, and he's fallen down the little ramp and into the advertising hoarding, and the physio is going to come and have a look. The on-field decision is penalty. The VAR tonight, Ivan Bibek of Croatia, will want to have another look at this, I'm sure. But Spurs hoping that here in the early stages of the second half, they're going to have the opportunity to double their lead.
Yeah, I think it's a penalty. I think Sanyang's gone to ground. And although Porro got clean contact on it and he put the ball in towards the keeper, Sanyang didn't get anything on the ball. He collided with Porro. And for me, it's a penalty. I can't see it getting overturned. And I actually think it's a booking, because they're quite nasty, them ones. Sometimes you can catch them, you can catch the opposition, you can catch the player on his ankle, and they can go over on it. And you can see Porro's down in that little kind of gully just off the side of the pitch, and he looks in quite a bit of pain. And you know, Sanyang's complaining here, but I don't think he's got too much to complain about. I think it's a penalty. I think it was clumsy. Clumsy at best, probably. It was worse than that. It was actually, he's actually caught him.
Bit of intent about it, right? Penalty is confirmed. It does stand. Porro's back on the pitch. And it's going to be Mohamed Kudus to take the spot kick. Chance for Spurs to give themselves some insulation, to really put some daylight between them and Slavia Prague on the scoreboard. And up against goalkeeper Jendrik Staniek. Can Mohamed Kudus get on the score sheet here? It's going to be a left-footed penalty kick. It's a short run-up, and he sends it straight down the middle and into the back of the net. The goalkeeper dove up to his right-hand side. Mohamed Kudus, who scored against Fulham last month. His only other goal for Spurs came against Leeds in October. Now he has scored in the Champions League for his new team. And Spurs lead Slavia Prague by 2-0.
Brilliant penalty, really well taken. It's a slow enough run up. He's waited for the keeper to dive to his right, and when he's done that, he's just clipped it down the middle. Really composed, really good penalty. You know what these Tottenham fans want now? They want the team to knock them off the gas. They want them to go again, get 3, get 4, really build up that goal difference, really give these fans that have come here tonight something kind of to hang on to when they go home, that no, we can score goals, we can put teams on the back foot.
Very confident penalty from Kudus, straight down the middle, and a nice celebration too. He ran over to the corner flag where there's these little sort of white little stools, I would call them, which are for photographers and maybe for some of the stewards, so that they're not standing up and blocking the line of sight of spectators. But he sat down on one of those stools, and one of his teammates sat down on another, and that'll be a nice picture moment, I'm sure, for Tottenham Hotspur fans as their team make it 2-0 here. And dangerous, Staniek brings the ball back into his own penalty area to pick it up, and is almost tackled by an onrushing Richarlison. That was dangerous for the Slavia Prague goalkeeper, and they've got to be careful that they don't get rattled now.
Yeah, that was interesting from the keeper. He went down to pick the ball up and realised that he was just maybe a yard outside the box. He needed to take another touch to get it back in, and all the time Richarlison was chasing after him.
So 2-0 to Spurs. For now they remain in 7th place in the live league table. And remember, finishing the top 8 gives you straight qualification into the knockout rounds. So Spurs on target for that so far, but they might get even better depending on results elsewhere. Young Sanyang, who gave away the penalty, clears the ball over the halfway line but gives it straight to João Palhinha. And here's Kudus with those dancing feet of his, spiralling away from a few tackles, playing a 1-2 with Jed Spence, and then rolling it back to João Palhinha again, who's just inside his own half. There's a swagger about Spurs now. They know they're on top. They've got the 2 goals on the scoreboard, and their fans are cheering every pass here, as that looks to be a foul by David Zima. Referee says play on. João Palhinha comes in to try and tackle Halopek, and Spurs do get it, and Archie Gray picks the right pass. Here's the chance. Odegaard, good save by the keeper, diving down to his left. Not much more Odegaard could have done there. Good reaction from Jendrik Staniek.
Really good move. Palhinha and Archie Gray on the front foot in the middle of the park, really going after the ball. They win it back. Archie Gray slips a lovely ball out to Odegaard, who doesn't do much wrong, but the keeper pulls off a great save down to his left.
52 minutes on the clock. Spurs 2, Slavia Prague 0. And Archie Gray has it outside the box, and he dummies a shot and gets it back on his left boot and drills it in, and it hits the back of his own teammate Jed Spence. So Slavia Prague should be able to clear the ball away here. This is Lucas Provod, but prowling across to intercept, as he does so often, is João Palhinha, and there is warm applause across the stadium for that. But we get to see on our monitors, Andy, another view of this Odegaard shot. Keeper, I mean, that's not an easy place to get down that low that quickly. He did well.
Yeah, and like I said, I think Odegaard's done well. He's opened his body up. He's tried to just feed it into that far bottom corner. Look, it's a good save. I think the keeper probably should save it, but it pulls off a decent save. Odegaard, although he does not much wrong, maybe could have put it a little bit more in the corner, if I'm being a bit picky.
Odegaard, who scored against Copenhagen in early November, that's been his only goal this season. 3 goals for Spurs last season, 2 of them in cup competitions, and he could do with a spark of a big moment of a goal here tonight, but as I say, didn't quite put it right in the corner, and Staniek was able to save.
But players like Odegaard and Javi Simmons, Archie Gray, players like that, they should be relishing this game tonight. You know, it's a comfortable enough one for them to 2-0 up. Can they then go and get the 3 and 4?
Sadilek has done well down the left-hand side, and this is Provod, and he's unselfish, laying it off, and that should have been a goal back for Slavia Prague. The offside flag goes up. Dodera shot across the face of goal and wide. It wouldn't have counted anyway, he had strayed, but it's another good build-up from Slavia Prague, and they are plugging away here, 2-0 down.
Yeah, they've just given enough to kind of keep them just involved in this game, and that was another opportunity there. Although he's offside, there he struck that ball well. You can see that he's got a decent right foot on him. He struck across it. He's just gone outside the post.
So Spurs in front thanks to an own goal and a penalty tonight. Richarlison missed a spot kick in Spurs' last home game in this competition, but Mohamed Kudus looked so confident as he tucked his away tonight. And the Spurs fans are singing and joyful and hoping that this is going to continue being a good week for them, having beaten Brentford here at the weekend. Spurs set for back-to-back home wins as Vicario clears it up over the halfway line, headed down by Zima into the midfield, and he gets it back again. Here's Ogbu, Richarlison putting the pressure on him, back to the goalkeeper. Richarlison sprints in, forces Staniek to clear it early, long and straight down the centre of the field, and won commandingly by Christian Romero. Spurs are really motoring now. Porro up to Kudus, tries to spin away from Zima. Zima's strong though, and they do get the ball, but by committing a foul. Free kick to Spurs near the halfway line.
Yeah, he's been good tonight. Kudus gets on the ball, he retains possession. What he does, although we know he's got loads of ability, he uses his body really well.
High ball played into the penalty area. Odegaard had made a run, but it wasn't the right angle for him, and it's comfortably picked up by Staniek, wearing bright yellow, away to our right hand side. Games to come for Spurs. They travel to Nottingham Forest on Sunday, the Andy Reid derby, and then it's Liverpool here at home. That'll be followed by Crystal Palace away as Slavia Prague come on the attack. But Romero well positioned again, makes the interception on the edge of the penalty area. Then it's a little casual with his clearance. He gets away with it, but that was almost intercepted. Spurs get it up to the halfway line towards Mohamed Kudus. Tries to spin away from Zima again. Zima clearly holding on to him. And the referee shows the yellow card to David Zima. So the man who scored an own goal in the first half now picks up a booking in the second. And he's been given a horrid time by Mohamed Kudus tonight.
Yeah, he's had a tough one. Again, it's brilliant play by Kudus. What you want when your wingers have their back to goal, you need them at times in the middle of pitch for them to be reliable, and he uses his body so well, secures that ball, turns away from Zima, who can't live with his acceleration. He has to pull him back, and he ends up being booked. And he's got well over half an hour now to play on a booking against Kudus in this form.
Yeah, the yellow cards are beginning to rack up for the visitors. Actually, that's 4 defenders now on yellow cards: Halopek, Zima, Ogbu, Sanyang. Got to be careful.
It's all right because they've got 8 defenders on the pitch.
They can afford to lose 1 or 2. Yeah, absolutely. Christian Romero has possession here. 11 minutes played in the second half. 5 Live Sports Extra for the BBC coverage of Inter against Liverpool over on 5 Live right now. And Xavi Simons has done well to hold on to possession here. Makes a little burst to try and break into the penalty area. Back onto his right foot again. Runs in field. Pedro Porro tries to return a 1-2. That doesn't quite work off. Good work from Sanyang. Slavia Prague are able to clear the ball away.
Yeah, you just want Tottenham to keep the tempo. Just keep moving that ball. Keep passing through the lines. Keep making them forward runs, and they'll get more chances.
Here comes Spurs again. Archie Gray, who's had a good second half, he's seen a lot of the ball now, gives it to Odegaard, stepping into the penalty area left hand side, low cross in for Richarlison, and it's a fluff. He should have done better there. Air shot from Richarlison. It's just not been his night so far for the Brazilian.
Yeah, he'll get more chances though, I'm sure of that. It was brilliant play by Odegaard, who's looked good, maybe not as good as Kudus, but he's looked good tonight. He goes on the outside, cuts a ball back to just behind the penalty spot, and Richarlison is leaning back, and he just can't get the purchase on it.
Spurs about to make their first changes of the evening. It's going to be a double change. Papsar is going to come on, and Matthias Tell as well. Kudus is one of the players who are going to make way as Thomas Frank decides to bring some fresh legs into proceedings.
Yeah, he's thinking about the game at the weekend. He thinks that the job's done here. I mean, Kudus has been excellent tonight. He's been a live wire. He's secured the ball when he's needed. He's got at the defenders 1v1. He's ran into the box. He's been electric tonight.
So Archie Gray is the midfielder who makes way. He's only had 3 starts in the Premier League this season, Archie Gray. I wonder if taking him off now means that he's a chance to be starting against Nottingham Forest on Sunday. And Matthias Tell in place of Mohamed Kudus, who did so well to score the penalty, his first Champions League goal for Spurs. So Spurs 2, Slavia Prague 0. Elsewhere, Chelsea were in front in Italy in the Champions League, but Atalanta have scored in the second half to get that back to 1-1. Barcelona were behind at home, but they're back to 1-1. at home against Frankfurt. Still 0-0 in Milan, Inter 0, Liverpool 0. Still 0-0 between Monaco and Galatasaray. Atletico Madrid were 1-0 down to PSV, but they've completely turned that around. They now lead by 3-1. And in Belgium, it is Union Saint-Gilloise 1, Marseille 3. Full details of all those games on the BBC Sport website. Full reaction later on 5 Live with Kelly Cates, and on the Football Daily podcast, available from BBC Sounds tomorrow. Now, having seen Spurs make the double change there, the visitors Slavia Prague are about to make a double change of their own. Halopek, one of the defenders on the yellow card, is the first to make way, and coming on for the visitors, Christos Zafiris, who is a Greek international who scored in the Czech League last month against Victoria Pilsen. So he's coming on, and we'll just confirm in a moment the other player who's coming on for the visitors, but it is a double change for Slavia Prague here in London. It is Prikop who has come on. So Prikop comes on in place of Holesh. So that is another defender that has made way there. And a third one sees Vilcek come on in place of Zima. So 3 defenders taken off. Slavia Prague trying to salvage something here from their visit to London. They've not scored in any of the last 4 Champions League games before tonight. That's on a bad cross into the penalty area, and Christian Romero, under some spot of bother, puts it out over his own crossbar and out for a corner to Slavia Prague on the right hand side.
Yeah, you're probably thinking at this stage they haven't really had much territory, many chances in the second half. It might take something from a corner kick or a free kick for them to kind of get something from this, and they need to go pretty quickly if they're going to get back into it.
So a corner to Slavia Prague. They've not had too many of these tonight. Attacking set pieces in front of their own supporters. The ball comes in. It is punched down by Vicario. It comes on the edge of the area to Dodera, but he can't get it through the forest of bodies in front of him. Another opportunity for Dodera to swing one into the box, but this is going to be cleared away by Audebert, and Xavi Simons is going to run onto it. A chance of a counter-attack here for Spurs, but Moses takes him down, and the referee says that is a free kick to Spurs.
Yeah, it's definitely a free kick. I think what you've seen for Tottenham here, Tell has gone out onto that left hand side, and Audebert's come over onto this right hand side, something a little bit different. And here's Tell on the ball, see if he can get at the fullback as well.
Plays a little 1-2 with Audebert, attacking the edge of the penalty area. Is Jed Spence down the left hand side, tries to swing it into the box, but it's cleared away by Ogbu. And that's only as far as Pedro Porro, who's still inside Slavia Prague territory. Spurs leading 2-0 here on Sports Extra for the BBC. Xavi Simons tries to send it around the corner, but it's intercepted by Sanyang. Sanyang, the young man who gave away the penalty earlier on in the game that allowed Spurs to establish a 2-goal lead. Here's João Palhinha playing it direct early, up onto the chest of Richarlison. Controls it really well. Back to Jed Spence. Tries to give it out to the wing, out towards Matthias Tell, but he's beaten there comfortably by the defender, and Zafiris is able to touch it back to the goalkeeper, and Staniek clears away. Spurs strong and robust to the midfield. Papsar makes a solid challenge, and the referee says it's a fair one and play on. Xavi Simons to Jed Spence. Game has got a little bit ragged at the moment. Jed Spence in front of Matthias Tell. He keeps it in play by the byline. On the left-hand side of Spurs come forward. Tell into the penalty area now. Defender backing away from him. Shot comes in. Saved. Back out to Papsar. Saved again. Staniek with a very impressive double save tonight. Well, his team may be 2-0 down. They could be a lot further behind if it wasn't for the performance of Jindřich Staniek in goal tonight.
Yeah, brilliant from Tell on that left-hand side. Cuts in on his right. Good shot down to the keeper's left. It pulls off a good save, and I think Sarr's got to do better when it comes back out. He kind of hits it straight at the keeper again, and I think he should be finding one of the corners because he's only probably 7 or 8 yards out. Controls it well, takes the shot, and just doesn't find the corner for me. I think he should do better. Yeah,
a bit like Richarlison right at the start of the game. It's got to be tucked away into the corner, giving the goalkeeper the chance to make the save there. But Spurs still leading by 2-0. 63 minutes now on the clock, and Thomas Frank heading towards a victory in the Champions League tonight. So other scores this evening: Bayern Munich beat Sporting 3-1 earlier. Olympiacos won tonight. Chelsea still 1-1 in Italy against Atalanta. Barcelona now leading Frankfurt. They've been 1-0 down this evening. They've turned it around to lead 2-1 for the moment. Koundé, the defender, scoring both goals for Barcelona tonight. Jules Koundé. Liverpool still 0-0 at the San Siro against Inter Milan. Atletico Madrid still 3-1 up against PSV, and Marseille now 3-1 up ahead of Union Saint-Gilloise in Belgium. Spurs on the attack down the right hand side, get a throw in right by the corner flag. In the Championship this evening, Blackburn 1, Oxford 1, Middlesbrough 2-0 in front away at Charlton. It's Preston 1, Coventry 1, Sheffield United 1, Norwich 1, Southampton 3, West Brom 1 now. That's a goal back for West Brom. Still scoreless at Swansea with Portsmouth the visitors. Sheffield Wednesday, the bottom club in the Championship, still leading away for a moment. Watford with 10 minutes to play, and it's Queen's Park Rangers 1, Birmingham 0. You're up to date on Sports Extra. Throw in for Spurs to be taken by Pedro Porro near the corner flag that Spurs attack down the right hand side. Papsar tries to bring it with him, can't control. Xavi Simons will hustle for it, trying to hold off David Moses. Ball goes out of play, and it's a throw into Spurs once again. Andy Reid.
Yeah, Spurs have kept the tempo, they kept the pressure up. I think that was probably my concern from a Tottenham point of view, was when they got that second goal, would they just go to playing slow football and just play for what they've got? But they've kept going forward, they've kept committing men forward and playing with that tempo. Be nice for them and for these fans, like we've mentioned, if Simmons could get a goal, or if Tell just come on, he could get a goal. Odegaard, the forward players, you always want your forward players with Charlison to get on the score sheet.
Spurs, who've had 11 shots in the match, that's higher than their average in Champions League games this season. Thomas Frank will be pleased that it's reflected on the scoreboard as well, with a 2-goal lead established. And if you're joining our coverage late here on 5 Live, it was an own goal from Zima in the first half, and then a penalty from Kudos in the second period, and that's why Spurs are leading Slavia Prague here by 2-0. Throw in for Sanyang on the left hand side, trying to propel it forward. Papsar has been full of energy since coming on, wins it in the midfield. He's sprinting away from Zeferis. Good running up ahead of him from Tell and from Jed Spence. So it took maybe a little bit too long to deliver the pass, and that's taken some of the momentum out of the counter-attack opportunity.
Yeah, Tell's made a brilliant forward run. He just wanted Sarr to slip him in and he could have a run at it. He just delayed the pass, and then by the time he delayed it, just the angle had gone, and he ended up coming back out, giving it to Jed Spence, and they recycled it again. But you just want that out of your feet, forward pass, forward run, you can get through.
Plenty of action in the Women's Champions League as well tonight. Arsenal leading Twente by 1-0, and here in North London, Spurs now looking towards the clock and realising there's only a quarter of this match remaining. So Spurs hoping that the Champions League can bring them the sort of excitement they had in the Europa League last season. Here's Prova though, just as he's about to shoot, Romero slides in ahead of him. Vicario comes out and is impeded, and that was always going to be a free kick. And then there's a reaction from Vicario that is a bit ill-advised here. He's tried to go chest to chest up against Sadilic, and you've got to be careful. He doesn't use his hands, he doesn't punch, he doesn't push, but he kind of bulldozed him with his chest a little bit there, and the referee's got to come across and try and keep the peace.
I just think you're 2-0 up, it's not a bad tackle, he's just blocked him coming out a little bit. I think that's completely unnecessary from Vicario. You don't want to give the opposition anything at all, you don't want to give the referee any excuse for anything. I just thought it was completely unnecessary from Vicario there.
There's also games in League 1 and League 2 this evening, a full schedule in the EFL. League 1 leaders Cardiff being held at third place Stevenage for now. Bradford in second place. Their game at rock bottom Port Vale was postponed. A lot of bad weather in the north at the moment. Lincoln in front against Barnsley. Peterborough did have the lead, but they've been pegged back at Reading. Stockport in charge at Doncaster. Bolton are taking on 10 men Mansfield, and they're in front by 1-0. Plymouth ahead at Wickham. Leyton Orient 1-0 up on Luton. Notts County and MK Dons are 2-2 so far. MK Dons could go top of League 2. Spurs about to make another double change. Ben Davis, who's not played since the October international break for Wales, has not played at all for Spurs this season, is about to come on. That'll be a big roar for the home fans. And also coming on Sporting, he's very futuristic looking jaw protection, Randall Kolomoani, who's got that after picking up the facial injury against Manchester United. So he comes on into the attack for Spurs. So it's Richarlison who makes way, and Pedro Porro too. And there's the roar to welcome Ben Davis onto the field for the first time for Spurs this season.
Yeah, I think two good subs to make. I think it's a good time in the game to come on. Kolomoani, we know that he's got ability, we know that he's got pace, power, and he's definitely a goal threat. And like you say, good to see Ben Davis back on the pitch. He's been a great servant for Tottenham over the years, and for Wales as well.
Yes, in this World Cup year, Ben Davis will want plenty of game time for Spurs ahead of next summer in the USA and Canada and Mexico, as Jed Spence's possession here for Spurs. And since Ben Davis has come on to play at left back, Spence showing his versatility and moving over to cover the right hand side. Just noticing that Ben Davies brought on some instructions with him. He's handed a little piece of paper to Mickey van de Ven, who's taken a long time studying it, and then he's actually unfurled it again. Hang on, what exactly do they want me to do? It's one of those Mission Impossible. This message will self-destruct in 10 seconds.
I think it might have been in Danish, was it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. Spence, brave challenge there as he stuck out his leg in front of Sanyang and won the ball, but Sanyang's recovered well, and Slavia Prague come over the halfway line. Good touch there by Vilcek. One for Provod to chase after. He's into the penalty area. Left hand side, doesn't quite have the angle to shoot. Pulls it back to the edge of the box. It's a shot on target by Sadilak, but it didn't have the power again. Second time that's happened to him in the game, where he's in a decent position, but he just can't pull the trigger forcefully.
Yeah, they just don't seem to have that final bit of quality. You know, can actually see now why they haven't scored any goals. They've got into some really good positions, but they just haven't been able, just haven't had that quality, that final action, the most important thing in football. I have to say, I've liked Provod tonight. I think he's played well. I think he's a good size.
Oh, mistake at the back, and almost fell to Odegaard there, but the goalkeeper was right out sliding at the edge of his own penalty area to get there first, and that spared the blushes of the defender down there. Vilcek, who nearly gave the ball away unnecessary. Romero back defending on the edge of his own penalty area, hooks the ball clear for Spurs. This is Sports Extra for the BBC. In the Champions League tonight, the league phase, where Spurs have now dropped back to 8th because of goals going in elsewhere, and this is João Palhinha trying to play a pass down the left wing towards Matthias Tel, but it's been intercepted. And possession back for Slavia Prague, who will keep plugging away here. They scored 2 goals in the opening out of the Champions League. They haven't scored in their 4 games since then in this competition. 2 defeats, 2 draws, and they are on target here as things stand to be beaten in North London tonight. This is Kolomoani sprinting in to put pressure on Staniek, who just about gets the ball away. Kolesh on the right hand side is able to touch it back to the goalkeeper, and they do now clear up towards the halfway line, but Spurs are working hard in that area. João Palhinha, nice 1-2 to go past him, and now it's up to Prikop, who is fouled, and that's going to be a free kick to Slavia Prague near the halfway line.
Yeah, that's Provod again getting on the ball and played a lovely 1-2, secures the ball for his team. As I was just mentioning there, I like the look of him. I think he's powerful. I think he's got a good left foot. He's good size. He's strong character. He's probably been the pick of the bunch for me for Slavia Prague tonight.
2-0 to Spurs, and the ball goes out of play there for a throw into Tottenham, left full back position for them. And Christos Zafiris, who's come on his 22nd appearance of the season in all competitions. He's on loan from PAOK, a Greek international with 14 caps to his name, and waiting for an opportunity to come his way. Same goes for Erik Prikop, who's a Slovakian international. He's now playing as the main centre forward. So, throw into Spurs. Ben Davies to take on the far side, gives it to Kolomoani. Nice work from Kolomoani. Oh, that was lovely. He swiveled, pushed the ball on and ran onto it himself. Really nicely done. Xavi Simons tries to play it forward, but he's challenged in that busy midfield by Sanyang. And then down goes João Palhinha. Referee says play on because Spurs still have the ball initially, but then they lose it and he comes back for the first action, and that's a free kick to Spurs. That's good refereeing. Yeah,
it was good that by Kolomoani though. Really good in the middle of the park. He's turned away. Looked like there was a little nutmeg in there, and what he done, he opened his legs and he showed how quick he was.
Here's an opportunity. Xavi Simons into the penalty area, tries to shoot from a tight angle, and the ball is palmed out for a corner. I don't think it was going on target from Xavi Simons. I think it would have hit the side netting, but Staniek had to be sure, and Spurs get the corner kick, and Ben Davies runs over to take it.
Angle was always against him. The defender's actually done well. He's leaning into him, making it really difficult for him. Just gets a toe poke on it, enough to win a corner for his team.
Still Inter Milan 0, Liverpool 0, and commentary of that game continues over at our sister station 5 Live right now. Here in North London, corner to Spurs. Ben Davies takes it, an in-swinger from the right-hand side. It's going to be controlled by Wilson Odegaard, out by the other corner flag. The left to Spurs come forward. He tries to take on Sanyang and wins Tottenham another corner kick.
He's done well, Odegaard, tonight. I think he's played well. I think he's been really positive in everything that he's tried to do. He's played on the front foot. He gets it. You know, he's got a bit of a jink. He's got a step over. He's got a change of pace, change of direction.
So here comes the latest corner kick. There's a lot of white shirts inside the 6-yard box here. They're trying to crowd that space directly in front of the goalkeeper. There's The corner kick comes in, and it's an in-swinger, and it's too close to the goalkeeper again. And that's happened a lot for Spurs tonight. Corner kicks that have just been played straight to the goalkeeper. Provot tries to break away in a counter-attack here. Matthias Tell, who'd taken the corner, sprinting back to try and halt him. Does well just to stunt the flow. Slavia Prague still have possession, but they're outside the penalty area. And Tell is still trying to do a battling job here defensively. Eventually a cross comes lashing in too high for Sanyang, who's going to sprint out to keep it in play on the near touchline. This is the left as Slavia Prague come forward in their black shirts with the purple trim. Jed Spence does a good job to regain possession here, and now Wilson Odobert will play a ball infield to Xavi Simons and continue on his run, and Simons saw that and he plays it in front of young Odobert, who sprints here and really tries to get there, and it was Vilcek who got there fractionally ahead of Odobert. Vilcek, who's a little bit older than Wilson Odobert, but he showed a real clean pair of heels here to keep up with the winger and get to the ball just first. Still Spurs 2, Slavia Prague 0, and a quarter of an hour of normal time to play, and maybe an opportunity here. And Prekop, he couldn't get it under control. It was bouncing all over the place. It just wouldn't come down for him. Let's see if they can keep it alive here. Sanyang on the left-hand side. Slavia Prague would love a goal here to give us an exciting finish over the final quarter of an hour if they could reduce the deficit to a single goal. Sadliek, that shows a bit of fatigue. He thought Sanyang was making a run. He pushed the ball in front of him. Sanyang had just checked that wrong, so the ball was completely given away.
Yeah, and I think it probably sums Slavia Prague up really tonight. Some good build-up play, some good moments, got into some half-decent areas, and just that final action, whether it's a final pass, a final finish, just been lacking.
So, possession for Spurs, and their goalkeeper Vicario away to our left-hand side. And another change here for the visitors. Sadliak, who's had a few chances tonight, he couldn't finish, makes way. And the Austrian international Mo Cham comes on. He's on loan from the Turkish club Trabzonspor. He is a winger, and he is going to come on to try and give some late energy to the Slavia Prague performance. As things stand, 32 clubs in the league phase of the Champions League, and Slavia Prague are rock bottom. They are in 32nd place at the moment. Spurs make another change too. Lucas Bergvall will come on, the teenager who's played regularly in the Premier League so far this season has come on to replace Wilson Odobert.
Yeah, Odobert's had a good night. We've just spoken about him, and Bergvall is a player that I like. I think technically he's good. I think he likes to get on the ball. I think he's brave to get on it. I think he's got some running ability as well. He covers the ground, and he can pop up in them forward areas as well. So see what he's got to offer for the last 15-20 minutes.
At the moment he's come on to play in the position where Odobert had been playing in the second half on the right wing. As possession with the visitors, and Dodera helps the ball on to Holesh. Having to work hard here just to get out of their final third, Slavia Prague, but eventually one pass breaks down. Sanyang just about keeps that in play. Bergvall goes in for his first collision of the game and commits a foul, and that's a free kick to Slavia Prague.
I think it's probably fair to say the Slavia Prague look a bit tired now at this stage. They've put a lot into this game. When you play that man-to-man kind of game like they were playing, particularly in the first half, it's dropped off a little bit in the second half. It takes a lot out of your legs.
Still 0-0 between Inter Milan and Liverpool. Still 1-1 between Atalanta and Chelsea and Bergamo. Tomorrow plenty of Champions League action. Newcastle in Germany to play Leverkusen. Manchester City's the big one away at Real Madrid. Here comes Spurs on the attack. Colomboani down. Xavi Simons is taken down. It's another penalty to Spurs. That was real classy from Colomboani. The wherewithal to see where the defender was, to see where Xavi Simons was, to chest the ball down for the Dutchman, and then one touch and he's barrelled into by Igo Ogbu, and it is the second penalty of the night for Tottenham Hotspur, and a chance for them to make this 3-0.
Bergvall done great on the right hand side. He kept going, put a great ball in. Colomboani, as you said, lovely little knockdown, and Simons does well. He arrives at the right time. He sees the tackle coming. The defender sticks out a lazy leg, and a brilliant chance for Simons now to get a goal.
Yes, the first penalty was scored by Mo Kudos. He of course has been replaced, so Spurs need a different penalty kick taker here. The captain Christian Miro came and he got the ball and he handed it to Xavi Simons, and he's given him the responsibility to get the third goal here, which with 12-11 minutes of normal time remaining would surely put this game to bed. Now, Jindřich Staniek, who the first penalty, you remember, he dove to his right-hand side and the penalty kick went straight down the middle. He's taken a while to get back onto his goal line. I think he's just doing a few mind games with Xavi Simons here. But let's see what the Dutchman can do. Got his first Premier League goal for the club of the weekend. Xavi Simons in the Champions League for Spurs. Tucks it into the corner. Staniek chose the right side, got a touch, nearly saved it. But it's well struck from Xavi Simons, and it's into the net, and it's Spurs 3, Slavia Prague 0.
Well, he'd be relieved to see it going in, because I think everybody thought the keeper had got a little bit more on that than what he did. He just got fingertips on it, and I think what saved Simons there, it was right in the corner, so you have to give him credit for that. The keeper nearly got there, but topping off a good night for Tottenham. 3 goals, none conceded yet, still 10 minutes to go. They could get another one, and Simons on the score sheet.
Own goal in the first half, 2 penalties scored in the second period. Spurs heading towards a win in the Champions League tonight, and it does feel that this has been a very significant week for Xavi Simons, and maybe the week that he's announcing himself on the Tottenham Hotspur stage. That's 2 goals in 2 games for him.
Yeah, look, we know that he's got ability. We've seen that time and time again, but only when he's been playing on the continent. We haven't seen it consistently enough in the Premier League yet, but maybe we're starting to see a little bit more of what he's got to offer, and this will give him confidence, that's for sure. And
you would expect Spurs can enjoy themselves now. I mean, certainly the Ange Postecoglou days, a 3-0 victory, lead didn't guarantee anything. They could end up losing at 4-3, but with 10 minutes to go here, such has been the manner of the game, this should be an enjoyable parade now through to the full-time whistle.
Yeah, I think in the first half, I suppose Slavia Prague, they were plucky. They kind of created a couple of chances, some from the edge of the box. They had a header in the first half, but in the second half they've really struggled to make any impact on the game. They look like they've tired in the last probably 10-15 minutes, and it's become pretty comfortable for Tottenham.
Xavi Simons' goal there from the penalty spot, his first goal in the Champions League in over 2 years. So free kick to Slavia Prague. This is midway inside Tottenham territory. Spurs bring everyone back behind the ball to defend it. I think Thomas Frank will be so impressed with the target man play of Kolo Muani there, and his instrumental role in creating that penalty kick opportunity. Xavi Simons was the player foul, but it was real magic from Kolo Muani to create that situation. Here comes the free kick now. Mo Cham will play it in for Slavia Prague. Bergvall missed it, and then it ricocheted off Ben Davies into the arms of the goalkeeper. Slavia Prague fans felt that was a back pass, so it came off his upper thigh. It wasn't a proper pass back.
Yeah, I wonder if they were claiming for handball there. I don't know whether they thought it popped up onto his arm.
Maybe. We'll have another look at that in a moment. Here comes Pap Sarr for Spurs, attacking down the left-hand side. Matthias Tell has made a good run in field of him. Ogbu, who gave away the penalty a moment, he's just standing him up. Attacking position, left wing for Spurs down the left-hand side. Spurs wearing all white up against Slavia Prague team in black. Mocham wins possession back in a right full-back position for his team. Then it's cleared away by Thomas Holesh up towards the halfway line, but Spurs are looking very organised there. João Palhinha gives it out to... here's Matthias Tell attacking the edge of the penalty area. Pap Sarr had helped it on to him. Dudera's back there and he tries to clear it away, but Spurs have really got the wind in their sails at the moment, and Slavia Prague keep making mistakes, and they're relieved to hear the whistle there. Whistle goes for a foul on David Moses by Bergvall, and that is going to be a free kick to Slavia Prague, who still trail here on Sports Extra by 3-0 at Spurs.
Yeah, I thought it was a good press by Tottenham there, to be honest with you.
Just seen the replay, and you're right, you're absolutely right, Andy. That was why they were appealing for a handball. And I'm telling you, actually might have a case there. That didn't look great for Ben Davies. His arms are tucked in by his side and whatnot, but he kind of palms it forward like a sort of, bouncing a basketball.
It was only the 2 hands.
Yes, exactly. So Spurs maybe a little bit fortunate there, but in truth, it wouldn't have changed much of the full narrative of the game, even if the spot kick had been awarded. 7 minutes to go. Spurs 3, Slavia Prague 0. Spurs back up to 7th place in the live table. Slavia Prague still rock bottom of the 32 clubs. This is Holesh on the right-hand side for Slavia Prague. Giving it to Cham, tries to take on Matthias Tell, no way past him, and the ball goes out for another throw-in to the visitors.
Yeah, I think it's so far it's been a pretty spot-on night for Tottenham, hasn't it? You know, I mentioned earlier, 3 goals, none conceded at the moment. I think at times they've played some really good football. probably want a little bit more cutting edge for them. You know, this could have been a night really where they could have got 5 or 6, and I know I'm being very, very picky there, but you know, if you want to be one of them top teams, you have to put these teams to bed earlier.
Cross in from the left hand side, what an opportunity, and Zafiris can't score. Puts it into the side netting. A lot of the Slavia fans on the other side of the goal thought that was in there. It was a really good cross into the box. Mo Chamathing delivered it, and then arriving Zafiris, who has scored 3 goals in all competitions this season. The angle is tied, but he shins it, doesn't he? It's well wide of the target, not even close to going in.
Yeah, I agree with you. The angle was tight. You would still expect him to do a bit better than that. You know, he doesn't make good contact with it at all, and the best chance of the second half.
Slavia fans who, we told you at the start of the game, one section was all wearing red, one section is all wearing white. Now most of them have taken their tops off. They're bare-chested there as a attempted shot by Provod. He's deflected out for a corner to Slavia Prague. And they may be 3-0 down, but their fans are still making a very festive atmosphere here. I know it's December, it's not that cold. It doesn't feel like a particularly hardy gesture to be as topless as it might sometimes be in December around here.
It's like summer for them, lads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, it is going to be a corner to Slavia Prague. 5 minutes remaining. Can they give something for their shirtless fans to celebrate? Corner is played in, decent delivery by Chan, but Spurs defended well, and the ball goes out of play for a throw into the visitors. Last touch of João Palhinha, throw in on the left hand side for Lukáš Provod. In fact, he's going to leave the throw in here for Vilcek. Spurs, everyone back defending, but you just know they could burst forward on the counter attack at any moment now if they can win the ball. And 4-0 would certainly have an emphatic sound to it for Thomas Frank if they could get another tonight. This is Holesh. Slavia Prague playing very high up the field at the moment. They would be exposed if Spurs do get it back here. Provod on the left hand side, that's a good ball into Prekop. Prekop tries to pull it back to the penalty spot area, but it's touched out of the penalty area. Then Colomuani can't quite control, but in the end of all that, the ball ends up in the safety of the arms of Guglielmo Vicario.
With Thomas Frank, he's what you want to see with this Tottenham team, and him kind of building it, putting it together, trying to stamp his way of playing on it. You want to see some good signs, you want to see the security, you want to see them attacking players and the creativity that they've shown, and I think they have shown that at times tonight, and it's something to build on for them moving forward. You know, it's difficult for when a manager comes in trying to stamp your authority on it. You're trying to get the grips, you're trying to understand what players fit into the system, how you want to play. It hasn't been all smooth kind of sailing for Tottenham so far. I think that's been pretty clear, but I think what you are seeing is signs that they can hurt teams.
Problem for Chelsea in Bergamo. Chelsea, who were 1-0 up against Atalanta, but it's now Atalanta 2, Chelsea 1. Charles de Ketelaere has scored the goal there. So Chelsea are behind. Liverpool have been held 0-0. Spurs doing the best of the English clubs in the Champions League tonight, leading Slavia Prague here at home by 3-0 on Sports Extra. 3 minutes of the game remaining, plus the stoppages to come as well. It's going to be a goal kick to Slavia Prague. Away to our right hand side. Spurs, you've got Forest away on Sunday. Then Liverpool come here after that. That's followed by Crystal Palace away, which won't be an easy game the way Palace are going at the moment, up in the top 4 of the Premier League. Goal kick here for Jindřich Stenjek, away to our right hand side. A player who used to be on the books at Everton, if you remember his name. He never made a senior appearance for Everton. He was on the bench a few times in the Premier League for them. His only actual game action in England was when he did a loan spell at Hyde United, but back playing on English soil tonight. Jindřich Stenjek as Colomuani comes forward here for Spurs. Left wing, tries a little trick, and he's run out of space. He sort of flicked the ball forward, tried to run onto it. He sprinted to the byline, and then was he tripped? And he's after falling into the advertising hoardings, but he's okay. Back up at his feet, Colomuani.
Hyde United to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
In the Champions League, yeah. Jindřich Stenjek, who started the season as first choice, then he got injured, he was out for a few weeks, but he's come back in again in recent games. We're just seeing replays of that. See, I mean, it is, for all this futuristic stadium, there's very little run-off area. After one step off the edge of the pitch, it becomes a downward slope, and if players are running full pelt, it's impossible to put the brakes on.
Yeah, it's the dip. It's actually quite similar to Old Trafford, where the side of the pitch where it falls off and gets pretty steep pretty quickly.
Here is Xavi Simons, edge of the penalty area that Spurs attack. Wide out on the right-hand side, rolls it for Bergveld to the byline. Bergveld tries a little trick, but he's stopped by Vulcek at the cost of a corner. Corner to Spurs as we prepare to enter the 90th minute of the game.
He's been lively since he's come on, Bergveld. I think he's been bright, playing off that right-hand side, but he's played in the pockets. He's been difficult to mark. He's run forward when he's seen space. I think he's been bright.
Still Inter Milan, Liverpool 0. Still playing over on our sister station 5 Live. Commentary available there. Corner to Spurs, taken by Ben Davis. They work it short. Matthias Tell on the edge of the box. Oh, he did well initially, then a heavy touch, and it's going to be possession lost as Cham tries to turn, but Xavi Simons crunches in and wins it back for Spurs. And this is Jed Spence, and he shoots on target, and the goalkeeper makes the save, and Slavia Prague haven't cleared yet. Xavi Simons turns and hits it wide to the target from 10 yards out. Still Spurs 3, Slavia Prague 0.
Yeah, good on the second phase from Tottenham. They kind of snuffed out the counter-attack, won the ball back, and Jed Spence found himself in acres of space. In truth, the shot was straight at the keeper. I think if that had gone in, the keeper had been really, really disappointed, and he actually made a bit of a meal of it. Jed Spence could have maybe tried to find one of the corners.
3-0 to Spurs. It remains. There's looking ahead to tomorrow night, really big game in Madrid. Real Madrid hosting Manchester City, and you can listen to full commentary of that game here, well, on our sister station 5 Live. Coverage from 7 o'clock tomorrow, kick-off at 8. There is more Premier League football this coming weekend. Liverpool against Brighton will be our pick of the games on Saturday. Chelsea against Everton on Sports Extra. Both those games kick off at 3 o'clock, and then at 5:30 we'll have Burnley against Fulham on 5 Live. We are into stoppages here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 4 minutes been added on as Spurs come on the attack. Down the left wing, whipped in by Matthias Tell. It flashes across the 6-yard box, and it was touched by a defender of the goalkeeper because it's gone out for a corner.
Yeah, really good play from Tell. Cuts back inside on that right foot and he whips it. It's a shot come cross, I suppose, and the keeper can take the chance. He thinks it might be going in at that back post, and he has to get a touch on it.
Corner to Spurs. We'll have commentary of the 3 Scottish teams in Europe on Thursday. From 5 o'clock on Sports Extra, you can listen to the Europa League, including Ferencváros against Rangers. That's 5 o'clock, followed by Celtic Roma at 7:45. And on Sports Extra 2, you can get coverage of Aberdeen's Conference League tie against Strasbourg. That'll begin just before 8 o'clock. Here comes the corner, played in towards the edge of the penalty area, and there's a clash of heads in there, and the referee gives a free kick for a foul on Provod.
Robbie Keane will get a nice reception at Ibrox, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah. He'll bring his earplugs for that one. As the former Celtic man returns. Spurs 3, Slavia Prague 0 here in stoppages at the end of an evening that has gone well for Thomas Frank. His team might have scored inside a minute. They were quite grateful when they saw the own goal go in the first half, and since then they've exerted a lot of control against the Slavia Prague team who've hustled and bustled. They've put in effort. They just haven't quite had the quality to compete with the level of Spurs. As Papsar comes thundering forward here, that looked like a foul on him. Referee says no. Oh, I'm surprised at that. Papsar thumps the ground in frustration. He can't believe he didn't get a free kick there. Referee obviously believed it was a natural coming together of players, and they play on, and this is Mo Cham, and he steadies himself and he shoots, and it was a sort of knuckleball attempt, but comfortably saved by Vicario.
Oh, I thought he could have played it out wide. They had a man over, and he's decided to go with a shot straight at the keeper. When we talked about that free kick, or non-free kick as it was, the referee didn't give it on Papsar. I didn't think it was a free kick. I just thought that the defenders just got himself across Papsar quite well. So, I didn't really think, I don't know what Papsar was going on about.
Liverpool may be about to get a penalty in the other game tonight. There's a VAR review after Florian Wirtz's shirt has been tugged in the penalty area, so we'll keep you up to date with what happens there. But if you want to listen to it live, that's over on our sister station 5 Live right now. Chelsea still trailing 2-1 in Bergamo against Atalanta, as Atalanta is still waiting to see confirmation as to whether that penalty is awarded in the San Siro. I mean, talk about crucial decisions these for Arne Slot and the pressure that he's under at the moment. And this is 5 Live Sports Extra at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham leading Slavia Prague by 3-0. Spurs in 8th position in the group league phase overall, which is where they want to be, inside the top 8. That's the important part. Offside flag is raised there, and a free kick to Spurs away to our left hand side, and we're almost done here in North London tonight.
Van de Ven's done well there. Another flag's gone off for offside, but he reads the danger really well. And then when he does see the danger, he covers the ground so quickly to get there. He's such a quick defender, isn't he?
Absolutely. There's a power, there's a pace about Spurs. We saw it under Ange Postecoglou last season. They would make mistakes, but they were always good to watch. Spurs always scoring goals. It propelled them to win the Europa League last season. And now under Thomas Frank, Spurs hoping that they're beginning to get a bit of consistency together in their performances now as well after what's been a tricky few weeks. But it's all gone to plan tonight as the full-time whistle blows at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And after beating his old team Brentford at the weekend, it is back-to-back wins for Thomas Frank and Spurs, with Son Heung-min watching on in the crowd and happy with what he sees from his old teammates. Spurs have beaten Slavia Prague, and convincingly, in the Champions League tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a really positive night for Tottenham. I think a 3-0 win. I probably, Thomas Frank, the way that he does think, he'll be really pleased with the clean sheet. They've got 3 goals, could have had more, played some good football at times, but in truth, Slavia Prague, they didn't really have enough to trouble Tottenham or to really take them chances, so it turned out to be a pretty comfortable night in the end. But nonetheless, you've got to face what's in front of you, you've got to go out there and do the job, and Tottenham have done that tonight.
3 Champions League home wins in a row for Thomas Frank. They haven't conceded in any of them. Spurs now unbeaten in 23 European home games in a row. Liverpool have been awarded that penalty in Milan, and they have scored it. So let's go straight there now to join coverage of the closing stages on 5 Live. From us here at Tottenham Hotspur, it's finished Spurs 3, Slavia Prague 0.